What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the internet where your cesspool is my jacuzzi. First thing, audio is going to be a little bit better tonight because I set up my old mic again. But unfortunately, the new mic that I got, the person who sent it to me told me it was the wrong one. So I have to wait for them to send me the right one before I use it. I think this one looks pretty cool, but I trust her judgment, and she wants to make sure I get the right one. So we'll hold off on that. But this should be working a little bit better tonight. Unfortunately, you have to hear me loud and clear. So I have my usual suspects.
Persevere.
My usual suspects here tonight. I was not expecting these emails to come out today. So we're going to go through the emails between Mike Maricini and David Gingras, Laura Owens' attorney, who I will just call the attorney or the lawyer from now on, because Voldemort is a little tiring to say over and over again. Anyone want to say that a bunch of times fast? Voldemort,
No.
Voldemort, Voldemort. Okay. All right. So yeah. So we're going to go over those first, and then we'll talk about what's going on with the Redditor, and David has continued, or their lawyer, sorry, has continued to attack her today, unfortunately. So some of the stuff that he said was pretty contradictory in my opinion, but before we go over that stuff, let's get into these emails. Somebody posted these on Reddit. I think it was one of the mods. Give me 1 second. I haven't shared my screen in a while. It's been like a week. So, I've forgotten everything, obviously. Here we go. Found it. All right. So this is an exchange from May 6th to 9th, 2024. This is about a month before trial. Am I right? It was June 10th, wasn't it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to get into the... What are you saying? Lauren's basement is full of sawdust and Furby parts? I don't have a basement.
The band basement. Like when you ban people from chat or give them a timeout, they go in the band basement.
Oh, the band basement.
And then they get to see what's in the band basement. Come on, Lauren. You know how this works.
Michelle,
that's where we keep the mechanical moose ride from The Bachelor. We keep it in Dave's band basement.
I keep it. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. All right. Michelle Amata, is this your new camera? Looks great. It's not, but the lighting now works behind my desk instead of right here. So it's a little bit better looking with the same camera. I was going to set up my new camera today, but then I decided to take a nap instead. So I didn't do that. But
choices were made.
Yeah, y'all all know what I look like, so we're fine. I did put the red guitar back. I got a lot of complaints about that last night. So
great.
Yeah. And I got my cowboy hat back there, my heart cowboy hat. Okay, let me make sure we're zoomed in close enough to read it. Just give me 1 sec. Oh, we are. Okay. All right, we'll read this and we'll read this. Should we read the bullet points, do you think, or should we go through the emails first? Because I haven't actually read this post yet, guys.
Well, I think the bullet points are like an executive summary. So if you want,
okay, we'll just go through all the emails.
And I think the idea is that the emails sort of support these bullet points.
Okay, we'll go through the emails and then, well, no, we'll go through the bullet points and then the emails. Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The following is a breakdown of email exchanges occurring between Michael Maricini, David Gingras, Ms. Pollock, and Greg Woodnick from May 6th to 9th, 2024. Some important points to take away. Gingras threatens and harasses Mike Maricini by stating he'll have Mike arrested on June 10th unless Mike speaks with him on the phone. Spoiler, a subpoenaed witness is not legally obligated to speak with opposing counsel in family court. Mike Maricini received a legal subpoena on May 7th, 2024 from Woodnick Law to appear as a witness in court on June 10th.
There we go.
Gingras indirectly acknowledges the legitimacy of the laptop analysis, stating if he and Laura have it analyzed a second time, he thinks it will help remove her doubts about what the laptop shows. And that alone could be worth the effort. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody just sent me a screenshot of a tweet.
Oh no!
Justice for Clayton or whatever on Twitter sent. They like advertise the posts about this and stuff. So like somebody says watching, and David says not watching, but clearly he's watching. Clearly he's watching.
What?
Like, why would he even feel the need to respond?
Oh boy!
Because he clicked on the post so that he could get the link to watch the video.
Oh.
David, you're not fooling anyone, man. And I wish you wouldn't watch, but you clearly do. From the things that you said, clearly you do. All right.
I mean, this third bullet, I mean, it's a good idea. I mean, I'll give him credit for that. Because sometimes, the flat earthers have to go to Antarctica and see the 24-hour sun to be convinced. And so if Laura needs to see the laptop, then that's what it takes, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I get the feeling that a lot of stuff is said behind closed doors that put him on a different side of things than he appears publicly.
Yeah, I mean, been there, my guy. I know what it's like to want to avoid conflict and want everyone to like you. So I kind of get it. But when you're doing your job in a legal capacity, you can't be that kind of guy behind the scenes, So
and is this person worth all of this?
No.
He wouldn't be in this situation right now had he just acknowledged that to the court that she had lied or whatever, that he didn't feel comfortable representing her anymore, and he would have been he would still have his license in 3 to 6 months. He wouldn't have to move out of Arizona. He could have put a stop to this much sooner, and I can't believe he thinks this is worth it.
Who's Miss Pollock? Is that a dumb question? That was Mike's former attorney, right? Okay. Somebody said, are we allowed to say hi to the interloper? Sure. I mean, he's obviously here, so go ahead.
Who knows?
Yeah. Crystalline Turner, 90 likes and 215 watching. Okay, guys, please hit the like button or you'll hurt Crystalline's feelings, not to mention mine. So. All right.
Click the like button an odd number of times.
Wait, should we talk really slow so that even if he watches it at 2 times, it's still slow?
We could, but that would frustrate me because of my ADHD brain.
What is happening?
Oh my gosh. Okay. If you guys want to say hi to baby Jingy in the chat there, go on. I'm not a total asshole. You can read him. That's cool. All right.
You're not a total psychotic asshole.
No, I'm just a total. Yeah, okay. Jingers indirectly acknowledges the legitimacy. Right, sorry. The lawyer indirectly acknowledges the legitimacy of the laptop analysis, stating we already read this, but it's fine. Analyze it a second time. He thinks it will help her remove doubts about what the laptop shows, and that alone could be worth the effort. The lawyer states that Laura is willing to speak with Michael Maricini on the phone, a claim the lawyer has vehemently denied since. But I guess we'll see that in the actual emails. So Greg Woodnick says that in addition to the laptop analysis confirmation of Laura's false pregnancy claims with Michael, Colin Scanlon, declaration in support of Michael Maricini here, recalls the conversation as Michael does, stating Ron was apologetic for what Laura had done. On May 6th, the lawyer emailed a former lawyer of Mike Maricini's following up on a phone conversation they had. The lawyer states the following. If Mike was going to be a witness in the Arizona paternity matter, I could and would be willing to subpoena him for a deposition. If he was unwilling to have a simple phone conversation. Mike Maricini received a legal subpoena from Woodnick Law the following day. If Mike intends to testify at trial, then I have an absolute right to know this, and I have a right to interview him. That interview can be done informally in a phone call, or it can be done formally in a deposition. Either way, refusing to cooperate is not an available option if Mike wants to participate as a trial witness. This is false. So this is what the Redditor wrote. This is false. There is no legal obligation for a subpoenaed witness to speak with opposing counsel in family court cases.
Yeah, that seems odd. I don't know. I guess if there's a deposition and you don't go, there could maybe be repercussions from a judge potentially, right?
All this for babies that didn't exist.
But you would have to have some sort of formal deposition.
Right.
Right, exactly.
Never happened in this case, right?
Right, and that never happened. And what was I going to say? I don't remember now. Sorry. There you go, guys. You're welcome.
Awesome. Love your insight. Okay.
The first part is real weird because it's in this weird past tense. Like if he was going to do something,
right?
It should really be like if he's planning or if he is going to do something. I mean, it's weird past tense. I don't get it.
I was going to say that it's complete intimidation and harassment. When I'm sure he knows that it's he's not legally obligated. to do
Oh, I
that.
see. You're saying the tense of the word is sort of crafted to be like a conditional. Like if
Yep.
it's sort of a threat, like if this happens, then
Mhm.
I will be
Yeah.
forced to do XYZ. Yeah, that is more sort of threatening language, I guess.
Okay. So at the time of this email, I didn't skip anything, right? No, I did. On the phone, you, Miss Pollock, suggested Mr. Maricini may just show up at trial rather than participating as a subpoena witness. I.e., he would simply choose to be there either as a spectator or as a non-subpoena witness. If that is his plan, I need to be clear about our position. If Mr. Maricini shows up as either a spectator or as a non-subpoena witness, Laura will ask the Phoenix police to have Mr. Maricini immediately arrested for violating the restraining order issued against him. Isn't the Phoenix police a separate jurisdiction than Scottsdale?
It is, but where court took place is in Phoenix's jurisdiction.
Okay. See, I don't know these boundaries. That's kind of interesting, though. That's kind of a
Mhm.
weird situation. All right.
Yeah. Well,
At
the
the
Phoenix
time-
police showed up. I was
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were outside. I forgot.
Yeah.
At the time of this email,
Times.
Ms. Pollock, who is not representing Michael Maricini, was unaware of the subpoena. Okay, that's not a crime. In short, I agree Mr. Maricini can testify at trial without fear of arrest, provided he complies with the rules of procedure. That means, among other things, I have the right to interview him and take his deposition if necessary. If Mr. Maricini does not want to comply with the procedural rules, that's 100% okay. I am more than happy if he wants to stay home, assuming he hasn't been lawfully summoned. But if he comes within 100 yards of Laura, as if anyone would ever want to do that, without being compelled to appear by valid subpoena, then he will risk arrest and prosecution for violating the restraining order. Michael Maricini did comply with the rules of procedure per the Redditor. However, Gingras did not.
Why?
Okay, and here's a quote here. What is this from? Do you guys know? For avoidance of any doubt. Is this from his email?
I think
or
that's still like
Oh.
from the email that
same email? Okay.
yeah. Or
Yeah. He's
yeah, I
still
think
writing an email.
because
yeah.
it looks like there's like a new date down lower. So
Okay.
I think it's
Oh, I get it now. Okay. For avoidance of any doubt, nothing in this email should be construed as an attempt to cause Mr. Maricini not to appear. Sir. Were your tweets an attempt to cause Mr. Maricini not to appear? Like, what the fuck? On the contrary, I would very much like him to appear, provided he does so in a manner that complies with the rules, including the rule that requires the prompt disclosure of the substance of his testimony and the rule which entitles me to interview him prior to trial. This guy's very entitled. I don't know if you guys noticed, but he says entitled a lot. Again, Michael Maricini did comply with the rules of procedure, yet Laura's counsel proceeded to call 3 different police departments in an attempt to have Mike Maricini arrested.
This guy just can't get anybody to go to lunch with him. It's rough.
I mean, I'll go if he's paying. He just can't talk to me.
oh my god.
We
I
can
will
write. We can tweet at each other while we're sitting across the table,
oh no.
or maybe we'll like pass notes. I don't know, but I just don't want him to talk to me. On May 8th, 2024, Gingras
Napkin
emails.
lawyer.
Gingras emails Greg. I said red. Wow. Greg Woodnick and states the following. Just to follow up, I'm in the process of looking for a computer person in San Fran to look at Mike's laptop. Well, they're not hard to find in San Francisco.
right.
Laura wants to move forward with that review, and while I'm not confident it will change anything, I do think it may help her remove doubts about what the laptop shows. That alone could be worth the effort. Okay, so he's not confident that it will change anything, meaning he is indirectly stating here that he believes it's correct. Is that right?
That's what I mean. It says that, but like.
I see. There's a note here, so we'll just read that. Here, Gingras indirectly acknowledges the legitimacy of the laptop analysis, stating having her own analysis done would help remove Laura's doubts about what the laptop shows. Further stating that alone could be worth the effort. Okay. One last thing. After talking with Laura about this, she says she has lots of questions for Mike. I told her my preference is to have her send me any specific questions, and I'll see if Mike wants to answer them. She also said she's willing to speak directly with him. But that may not be appropriate in light of the restraining order. On the other hand, if Mike has a strong preference in favor of directly speaking with Laura, maybe we could make that happen. I'm licensed in CA and could probably do some sort of stipulation with Randy to modify the CA order to allow this just to be safe. So didn't he recently deny that he said anything like this?
Why would he need to talk to? Why would they need to talk to each other?
They don't.
Why is this even a thing?
It would be so that Laura could try to manipulate him into not
Mhm.
going and testifying or not saying certain things if he testified.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Yeah,
Here's
but I
this-
mean, what's the surface reason?
The surface
It
reason.
doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no rational reason for these people to talk to each other.
No, it does not make sense.
I mean, there may be nefarious reasons, but I don't understand what the rational reason is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, this is so crazy. Hang on, sorry. I saw high squid peeps in here. What does that mean?
What? Squid pro quo, right? I
Is
don't know.
squid here?
Maybe. I don't know.
Squid
Oh.
Pro Quo. Who is Squid Pro Quo?
Another YouTuber.
Another streamer, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, she's covering
Sometimes-
the Hales stuff.
Sometimes people redirect. I don't know.
Erica P. Lauren, you're coming off a little breakup-ish. Erica, I don't know if you mean my audio or my personal life. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Your video
Whoa.
is freezing like every once in a while. It'll freeze for like 2 or 3 seconds, but your audio is still coming through.
Oh, it's
Ever
good.
since I like moved my computer and I had to redo the wiring, it's been a little wonky like this. But I'm, obviously I don't know what to do with that right now. But if I can fix it, I will. AKA the Cat Lady, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I'll be doing another members only stream this week, guys, so I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Where was I on this? Here, Gingras indirectly acknowledges the legitimacy of the... No, we read that. Okay. Gingras
you're
clearly states Laura is willing to speak with Mike Maricini on the phone. Gingras has since denied this accusation, but here it is, clear as day. Why would someone who fears for their life want to speak with the alleged assailant on the phone? That's right, they wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean,
P.S.
that's what I was saying, right? There's no rational reason for this.
No. P.S. This goes without saying, but to the extent I suggested Mike would be arrested if he comes to court in Arizona, that suggestion is completely and totally withdrawn.
It was? Wait, when did it go back on the table then?
Right?
Because that's what
Your
happened.
intent? Yeah. I only said that because I didn't want Mike to show up without giving me the chance to at least interview him, as I would with any normal witness. As long
boy.
as Mike agrees to have a reasonable call to answer some questions, I'll stipulate and agree his appearance in Arizona is not a violation of anything.
Why does he think that's his fucking permission
call,
to give
yeah.
that? Exactly.
I don't fucking know. Is a violation of anything, is not a violation of anything, and will
I
not
only
expose
said
him
it
to
to
arrest.
intimidate him.
Right, yeah. Jinkers clearly
I
admits
did
to
it
intimidating.
my way.
Now sing the rest of the song.
I don't know those words.
Jinkers clearly admits to, the lawyer clearly admits to, and I've got to get used to this, guys, because I've been so respectful in just calling him by his normal name that it's like ingrained in me now. What a shitty situation. All right. The lawyer clearly admits to intimidating and harassing Mike Maricini. As stated above, the subpoena witnesses in family court are not legally obligated to speak with opposing counsel. Therefore, the lawyer's only reason for threatening to have Michael arrested was to intimidate him into speaking with the lawyer on the phone. All right. On May 9th, 2024, Mike Maricini emails the lawyer. Michael states that he was willing to speak with the lawyer until the lawyer tweeted a picture of Michael with his abuser, Laura Owens, and audio from a phony podcast she roped him into under false pretenses, both occurring during that traumatic time in my life. You can read the email in its entirety here. The lawyer responds to Michael's thoughtfully written, painful email by stating he needs to have permission from Michael's lawyer to speak with him about the June 10th hearing before discussing any points made in Michael's email. I am only mentioning this so you didn't think I was ignoring your comments below. I do want to respond, and I do want to encourage you to change your mind about talking to me. I promise it's not a big deal. Dude.
It's not a big deal, but if you don't do it, I'm gonna have you arrested.
Right. But I just need to make sure you aren't represented by anyone first, since that hasn't been made clear by either Greg or Randy Sue. P.S. I removed that tweet from yesterday, and I'm happy to remove anything else if you asked. Dude, the damage was done.
Mm-hmm.
Also, has he met any humans? Nobody wants to talk on the phone. Nobody wants to talk on the
Has
phone,
he met
guys.
any humans?
The humans don't want to talk on the phone. That's not how they work anymore. That's not how it works. Nobody wants to be compelled to go to lunch, and nobody wants to talk on the phone.
Have you ever been compelled to go to lunch, guys?
It's a
I
good
have
question.
Not by him.
Not by him, no. I had a coach in college in my freshman or sophomore year who like we just like really didn't get along. And she was like, let's go to lunch. Like she wanted to like try to work stuff out. And I was like, I don't want to go to lunch with you. But it's like my scholarship and my position on a team depended on this person's approval, obviously. So it was a little hard, but I kept saying no. I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. And eventually I left and I went to Arizona, far across the country. So, she was actually not the reason I left, but still that was just like a factor in the decision. I was like, dude, you can't actually force me to go hang out with you after you've done these things that I think are like really detrimental to my mental health. So, yeah. Okay, let's open this up to, we'll go ahead and read this. We'll skim it just in case. All right.
And I think start at the bottom.
They start at the bottom. Okay, so we're going backwards kind of. Okay, there's only 7 pages here. I thought it was going to be a lot longer because of his filings. So this is the first one. Looks here.
Pretty long to me.
May 6th. Okay. This is to Miss Pollock. Okay. I am writing to document our discussion just now and explain my position. Per the email below, we spoke about your client, Mike, about 2 weeks ago. At that time, I told you I just wanted to speak with Mike and hear his side of the story. I also explained that if Mike was going to be a witness in the Arizona paternity matter, I could and would be willing to subpoena him for a deposition if he was unwilling to have a simple phone conversation. Congrats. In response to that discussion, you sent me the email below stating that Mr. Maricini was not going to testify at the trial in June. I'm sure she knows what she sent you, you asshole. Like, what are you thinking you're going to accomplish by this? I think he's just trying to say, like, look, you were wrong, or look, you suck. Like, what was the point of that?
Also,
like,
the only thing that like links, to my knowledge, that links Mike to this lawyer is the 2018 or 20, I guess, hearing. The renewal hearing. So why is he assuming that 4 years later this is like the person he's
I don't know, but to her knowledge it sounds like he was not going to, and like that's like not really that out of left field. So I don't think she did anything wrong. It's from what I can tell. Okay. In response to that discussion, you sent me the email below saying that Mr. Maricini was not going to testify at the trial in June. Since then, counsel for Mr. Eckert has indicated that Mr. Maricini will be testifying in person at trial in June. This is, of course, inconsistent with what you said below. So this is like...
Well, people can change their minds.
Right. Or maybe she just didn't know. How does he know she was even in contact with Mike about this whole thing?
Well, this is like if one of my... Let me think about this. It's like if somebody who is like a friend of a friend told me something that said like, oh, this person that we went to high school with, she's not living in town now. And then that person, like another person related to that person says like, oh, no, they did come back to town. And then I went back and got mad at the person who told me they weren't living in town. Like that's weird because like that person hasn't talked to them in a long time. How were they supposed to know? So, hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. That's where my brain went.
Yeah.
Kind of like a grocery store conversation gone wrong, if you will. Okay.
I mean, maybe one day he said, no, I'm not going to go. And then things changed and he changed his mind. Like people can change their mind. Like
no, Bruce, they can't. That's a lie.
I mean, it's not really inconsistent because it's 2 different points in time. You can have different information at different points in time.
Yeah.
Yes, and Mike. So as we now know, that they have a baby due in about a month. She was pregnant at the time of the trial, and so knowing that, if you do the math, she was pregnant during the trial. So or the hearing on June 10th. So anyway, him knowing that, like she came with him for support. Right. Knowing that he was now going to expose his wife to this whole thing, that Laura was going to be there in person. His abuser was going to be there in person. He's going to have to come face to face with her and have this still now become a part of his current life. It was, I think, and I think a lot of people agree, you two included, that it was brave of him to go and to support Clayton and to support all of the other victims. By showing up and being there in person.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what Tiffany's saying here. You're drinking literal tea. That's great. Or if you guys are wondering about the join link or anything like that, it should be in the description of the video. the app doesn't show it sometimes because I had to go on my computer to join Bruce's channel again because my phone wouldn't let me do it. And I was like, excuse me.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Right. Oh dear. Exactly. That's what I said. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. Oh, Stephanie, thank you for the 5 gifted. I didn't see that earlier. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And Flynn, thank you for the 25. Happy New Year. If anybody is interested, let me put a poll here because I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do for New Year's Eve. I might be going to my cousin's house, but I'm wondering, would anyone watch a New Year's stream? And then we'll put yes. No, I'm doing a poll in the chat here. And if you say no, I will find you. No, I'm just kidding. I will find you and I'll hang out at your house for New Year's Eve.
And I'll stream from your house.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, to clarify the situation, I called you again today to ask if this was possible for me to speak with Mr. Maricini. Your response was, to paraphrase, no, we are not willing to cooperate with you. I'm pretty sure that's not what happened.
Uh-huh.
But okay. In light of that response, I want to make 2 things clear. One, if Mr. Maricini attends to testify at trial, then I have an absolute right to know this. And I have a right to interview him. That interview can be done informally in a phone call, or it can be done formally in a deposition. Either way, refusing to cooperate is not an available option if Mr. Maricini wants to participate as a trial witness. 2, on the phone, you suggested Mr. Maricini may just show up at trial. Didn't we just read this?
Yeah, I think it's like quote
it's in
quotes
the
from
okay.
his emails. Or
So we won't do that. If this is his plan, I need to be clear about our position. If Mr. Maricini shows up as either spectator or non-subpoena witness, Laura will ask the Phoenix police to have Mr. Maricini immediately arrested because she's in so much danger around all those security guards and all that. But okay.
And all those victims that she abused.
Mm-hmm. All right. We read that in the recap. Let's see. If he comes within 100 yards of Laura without being compelled to appear by valid subpoena, will risk arrest and prosecution. All right. Note, Rule ER 3.4 of the Arizona Rules of Professional Conduct provides a lawyer shall not request a person other than a client to refrain from voluntarily giving relevant information to another party. Okay. Based on this rule, I assume Mr. Woodnick has not instructed you or Mr. Maricini to refrain from speaking to me.
It doesn't fucking matter.
If that has occurred, it would be a per se violation of the ethical rules. But, dude, this guy's
What is
head
this just speculation? Like, does he just like look for laws and say like, how could
This
somebody
man is
break
like-
this law? I'm just going to assume I assume they didn't break this law. Like, what is this?
It was kind of like right in the beginning of the trial where he was like, somebody lied to me. I was like, this is the most paranoid shit I've ever heard. Like,
The only person who's lied to him is Laura Owens
that's definitely true.
and
All right.
her mom.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe her dad, too. I don't know. We'll see. Didn't he say he was going to interview her something in his latest video? that I
Yeah,
didn't
well,
watch?
I'd like to see him interview someone who actually has like all their facilities.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. All right. No shade on Ron Owens, you know.
No, I mean
illness
it's
or
just
anything
where
like
it's
that.
just that's his situation right now, and I think like it would be taking advantage of him if Laura or her mom even allowed him to do something like that.
Well, I wouldn't let my, granny who has issues like that be a witness for me. So,
Yeah, it's
it's not because you don't like them or you think their illness is a bad thing or anything like that. It's not like
exactly.
it's
No.
because
It's not fair to
it
him.
inherently impacts their ability to reason, remember, and stuff like that. Oh, Brad's here.
Mhm.
Hey, Brad.
Hello. How's it going?
Hey,
I saw Brad in the chat, so I was like, oh, hey.
Nice.
Yeah, but we're just finishing up. Going
Beverages are being had.
Beverages are being. What kind of beverages?
Oh, very good.
Sam Adams Winter Lager.
ooh, sounds good.
I don't know if that's any good or not. I've never had that.
I think it's good.
It's a darker beer, but it's got a lot of really good earthy. It says festive and smooth.
Festive.
Festive.
Accents of cinnamon, ginger, and orange peel. Perfect for any occasion.
That sounds way complicated for me because I don't know what any of those things mean. Well, no, cinnamon, I know. Okay. Orange peel. I don't know what an orange peel tastes like.
You've never had a blue moon?
No.
Oh man,
Mm-mm.
blue moon is the go-to.
Not much of a beer drinker. Erica P says Lauren's more of a gas station Marg girl. I mean, I can't argue with that. I ran out of those. I got to go to the nearest Circle K or something soon.
Sounds like we need another DoorDash order.
Oh my God, yes, but please no condoms this time. All right. Also, just to be clear, I'm echoing in somebody's who has their computer audio on. I'm echoing. I don't like to hear myself talk. Please help me.
I'm muted.
Okay. Also, and just to be clear, I am not under any circumstances. Oh, that stopped it. What happened?
I muted myself.
Oh, it was you then.
Why though?
I have no idea, but I hated hearing myself twice. It was a nightmare. All right.
Can you
Anyways,
still hear it?
no. I am not under any circumstances suggesting Mr. Maricini should not participate in the trial if he has relevant information. All I'm saying is that if he wants to testify, he needs to do so in a manner that complies with the rules and the law. This is mandatory to ensure basic fairness to all sides. Please note that it is a felony under Arizona law for any person to unlawfully withhold testimony, to evade legal process, to appear, and or fail to appear when legally summoned. So why did you call to have him arrested?
Right.
Like,
So he was legally summoned and you called to have him arrested. Interesting.
He knows it's a felony for him not to be there, but he wants to have him arrested anyways. That's cool. That's cool. Makes total sense now. I get it.
I would very much like him to appear. So why'd you try to have him arrested?
Yeah, no, man. Like that's wild. Danny Extreme says, Brad, I was just thinking how much I missed hanging out with you cooking on Sunday night. Brad, where you been? Oh, Brad's muted.
Yep, there we go. I usually do cooking streams, but the past 4 weeks or so, I have not had the motivation or the knowledge to do it, and it has affected me both in my eating habits and my enjoyment. So it's something that I need to get back to.
Yeah.
I hear you though. The last week or so, I was like, "Oh, it's Brad! It's Brad! I can hear myself on Brad's end.
What?
I can hear myself coming from your. Well, it's gone now. Yeah, it's gone.
I don't
Now
know
it's back.
how.
If it doesn't bother other people, that's fine. I just won't listen to myself talk. Anyways, Justice for Clayton Baby She is Laura's bitch. Thank you very much for the $5. I have no argument against that. Okay.
Maybe now is better.
Nope, I can still hear myself. I don't know why. It's weird. It's not that bad though. It's not very loud. I don't even know if anyone else can hear it. AKA the cat lady says that was 100% witness intimidation on Jingy's part. It certainly seems that way to me, but he doesn't see it that way for some reason. So, yeah, it's gone now. I don't know. Weird.
Okay. So now I put in echo cancellation. So.
Oh yeah, it worked now. That's good. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
and I mean, there's two parts to it, right? There's the legal part, and then there's just sort of the optics of the public view of it, which I think is what I agree with. It just doesn't look. The optics are not good.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. Greg. When I see Greg, I can't see anything but like him talking about Greg on Twitter. Greg, just to follow up, I'm in the process of looking for a computer person in San Fran. Okay, so we read that in the bullet points. As discussed, I'd also appreciate you setting up a call with Mike if you can. I guess there's also a technical issue with that. Mike is, to my knowledge, represented by Randy Sue, and I don't have her consent to talk with him. Is that like, maybe she said I'm not currently representing him and didn't say you don't have my consent to talk with him? That's kind of what I'm getting here. I don't know though. So if Mike is open to having a call, which I hope he is, I just need to make sure I have consent from his counsel to speak with him. Okay. One last thing, after talking with Laura about this, she said she has lots of questions. And then we saw that in the bullet points as well.
Well, this is after the early April one where he both emailed Randy Sue and Mike. So, because this is after when she said, yeah, we don't think Mike's going to testify. And then that's when when they posted the demo tape on Twitter publicly.
Mm-hmm. Huh. All right, let's see. Let me catch up on these really quick. Tiffany, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the members only stream this coming week. Ann Tuttle, thank you for the $50. You were so nice, and she's always, sending me. You're always sending me money. I feel like I need to give you something, but I don't know what to do. Hey, Lauren, you were awesome, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, and don't worry, we still have 2 more days to freak out though before the new year. So thanks very much. I appreciate you being here. All right, so let's see. One last thing after talking with Laura about this, we got through that. Okay, extent that he would be arrested if he came to court, that suggested withdrawal, and we saw that in the recap there. Okay, so this was from Greg, right? David, 1, let me know about your computer expert, ASAP. Mike is fine with the tech issues being reviewed by your expert. There are other files on that computer that are personal/private, so we will need to figure out how to assure those are not accessed, but that should be navigable. 2, in addition to the tech confirmation, Colin Scanlon recalls all of this, and he was present during the meeting with Ron Owens at Redacted in San Francisco, where they discussed the situation. Ron was apologetic for what Laura had done. 3, Mike mentioned he is willing to talk to you. Of course, I let him know you were very thoughtful during our call today. Oh, Greg, I've been there. Made that mistake. He needs to vet it with Randy. I did not mention Laura wanting to talk to him, only because I forgot, but I'm going to guess he will take a hard pass. But I could be wrong. This needs to end. Greg.
And Jingers keeps saying that I'm going to say his name, or I can not say his name if you don't want me to.
I keep slipping up. Go ahead. Fine.
That he wanted to end everything and he's trying to do it, but Clayton keeps filing all these motions and his side blah blah blah, and Woodnick here is clearly like, this needs to end, and like, who keeps pushing things forward to not end them?
Mike,
Laura, and Jingers.
Obviously Mike.
Well, of course he can say Laura wants to end. They want it to end without having to pay $150,000 in legal fees, but
right.
It's too late at this point.
Yeah.
She's just going to claim bankruptcy. I think the Clayton side isn't expecting to see money, and I don't think they have been from the beginning. But it will be interesting once their appeal is denied, seeing that whole process of them trying to get funds and things.
Well, I hope David enjoys that coming back at him when if and when he sues me. If he happened to win his case, I would obviously have to declare bankruptcy too. So,
well, I mean, even if Clayton never gets any money, just having the ruling that's on record in the public record is the thing he can keep in his resume.
Worth more than that money.
Right, definitely. Yeah.
And if Laura, for whatever reason, decides that she's going to try and sell a book or something, then any royalties made from that could be garnished for the judgment.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What do we think about that? Is she ever going to try to sell a book or anything like that, or is she going to continue writing for Medium for free?
I think if she can find a way to do it where she could keep the money, she'd definitely do it.
I don't know if that will happen though. I don't know if she could, given. And then, like, she opens herself up to a defamation suit there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just, she might, though. She really wants, I feel like, the spotlight. So, I think we read this already, but just in case, Rochelle, thank you. 2024 stock hopefully better next year. Cheers to you all. Thank you, Rochelle, for the 5. If I already said that, then thank you twice. All right. This is, we've seen this email before from Mike to the lawyer. Mr. the lawyer, Greg Woodnick reached out to me and gave me your contact number because you have expressed a desire to speak to me. And I'm reading this again because it's so good. Like, I can't. I want you to know that I was about to call you and tell you about my harrowing experience with Laura Owens and all the lies she told, including but not limited to lying about being pregnant with twins, telling me she had cancer, threatening suicide, and emotionally terrorizing me to coerce me into a relationship with her. But before I could pick up the phone, I saw that you tweeted out a photograph of me and Laura and audio from a radio show we did together from that traumatic time in my life. I cannot express to you how inappropriate and offensive that action was. You have accused me of fabricating evidence and lying, which led me to take my laptop directly to an expert for analysis. So in reading this paragraph, like, what sticks out to me is, number one, I understand what it's like to, like, want to talk to somebody or want to tell your story and then to find out that they said something that was just like infuriating. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Never on this scale. I can't tell you. I have know what it feels like to have your old personal life put on blast like that, especially from somebody who abused you. But it's so frustrating that he has to go through this and like say all this and it has no impact on this guy whatsoever, the guy on the receiving end of this. Like, it's very frustrating and it's very disheartening, I think. Not just with him, but with others who have tried to reason with him and he kind of like blows it off. But I don't know, the fact that he would like advertise that, you know, podcast or whatever, radio show or whatever between him and Laura, that's not part of his job. He did that because he wanted to. His client can ask him and he can say no. He can say, this isn't going to help your case at all whatsoever. He can say no, but he chose to do it because that's what he wanted to do. In his position as her lawyer, he can still say no, like Corey did, like Lexi did. But he did it because that's what he wanted to do. That's what he wanted to, that's the way he wanted to handle the situation. So make no mistake, he had no problem with abusing like his position like that. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Very well said.
And again, like, just to reiterate, PR is not this man's job. He doesn't have to do any of what he's doing. He doesn't have to attack a Redditor. He doesn't have to attack me. He doesn't have to like attack Mike or anybody else. He does it because that's who he is. He does it because he wants to. He does it because he needs control. He needs to feel better than everybody else. He cannot see things critically in a way that he might think, oh, these people, you know, they might have a point, or maybe I should see this from someone else's perspective. And it's unfortunate because, well, unfortunate for him, because that introspection, that kind of being able to relate to people would help him in the job he's trying to do right now. It would help him reach people if he could relate to people on a human level, but he just can't, obviously. And he doesn't see anything wrong with what he's doing because he doesn't understand what it's like to have normal human emotions. That's my opinion. So, all right, back to the email from Mike. I had moved on with my life and had no interest in opening up old wounds that have so injured me, but you made it impossible for me to sit quietly. You posted my deposition online to accuse me of lying, and you humiliated me purposefully. I deeply resent the allegations, which is why I decided to turn over my laptop as evidence in the Clayton Eckerd case against Laura. We both know that she sent those doctored medical records to me, and now you have the proof. I could not in good conscience remain quiet and watch Laura use this same playbook against another innocent man.
Fuck yes, Mike.
Yeah.
So wasn't there like some sort of video that he said, or David, the lawyer, said that he made about Mike and then he didn't post it? He was like,
Yes.
no, I'm gonna sit on that one.
Yep.
I mean, it was a big mistake to even make that in the first place. Like,
Yes, and then on the other hand, again, contradicting himself, which is his, he should get fucking paid to do that because he's really good at that.
Yeah.
He said he's not going to get into the whole Mike thing because he wasn't there and it was before his time and he hasn't heard Mike's side of the story. So which one is it, motherfucker?
Right. It's not as if he and Mike have had a heart-to-heart since then. All right. I have decided that I will not speak with you on the phone. I will speak in a court of law on June 10th under oath, and I will tell the truth about the horrors that Laura visited on my life. You may ask me any question that you want, and I will answer with the whole truth. You do not understand or willfully refuse to accept, and willfully refuse to accept is definitely this guy's playbook, how traumatizing my interaction with Laura Owens has been. She has destroyed my reputation and ruined background checks by taking out a fraudulent order of protection against me based on lies that have affected me personally and professionally. She accused me of horrific acts of domestic abuse that never happened. She fabricated medical evidence and held threats of suicide over my head to keep me locked in a relationship that was toxic and deeply disturbing.
And you know who else helped do that? Ron Owens.
Yep.
Jan Black.
But perhaps the worst thing you have done is to suggest that I should talk to Laura, the woman who attempted to, and in many ways did, destroy me. This is the same woman who continues to renew the false order of protection against me and pretends to be terrified I'll be in the same courtroom as she. Why would someone so afraid of me want to speak to me and violate that order she insists she needs? This, just a day after you threatened to have me arrested if I showed up at the courthouse to be a witness. The fact that you would suggest such an inappropriate call between me and my abuser proves to me that you have no idea how inappropriate it would be to speak to the woman who fabricated wild tales about me and turned them into a TEDx talk and an entry in Chicken Soup for the Soul that will live on forever. This letter, which has been painful for me to write, has addressed everything you wanted to speak to me about by phone. All the best. Michael
And I mean,
Martini.
even if a phone call doesn't violate the order legally or whatever,
Right.
just like if I sit there and think about stories I've heard from people who've been abused or whatever, I can't imagine them ever wanting to get on a phone call like this or
No, there's-
anything, even with a lawyer on the phone. Like, there's no way anybody would want to do that.
No, I was in an abusive relationship for 3 years, and there's no fucking way I would get on a phone call with that person
Mhm.
and talk with them about anything.
Nah, definitely not. Oh, Shizzy Raid. Thanks, guys. Sorry, I didn't see that. I'm really bad at reading the emails and reading the comments tonight. Thanks everyone who came from Shizzy Wiznut. And thank you, Shizzy Wiznut. I don't know if you guys saw, but I met Shizzy last week. I think it was Friday. No, it was Thursday. But I went out and I met him somewhere nearby because he was visiting his relatives in town or like near where I live. And that was a fun time. We got to hang out for like an hour or so. It was too short. I hope I get to see him again. He was a very, very cool guy, very chill, very funny. So I definitely appreciate him as a friend. So thanks everyone who came from Shizzy. Okay. And thank you for reminding me, Brad, because I did not watch the chat. All right. Let's see. So reading this email back after everything that's happened and after all the text messages we've read through and everything, it's like it hits a little bit harder even, I feel like. Chicken Soup for the Soul, I believe, removed, her entry or whatever, but they're
Online, yeah.
Didn't Dave say they were like going to be bankrupt or something soon, or I don't know.
I don't know, but that
about
doesn't
but-
surprise me. They've been around forever, and
Dude, really? Yeah.
it's very Christian leaning, it seems. I just don't know how many people are interested in.
Did anyone else see those books in their house growing up? Like my babissitter, my parents used to have them, and I used to be like, chicken soup.
My mom's like, this
Ew.
is good for you, read it. And I was like, no, I don't want to read that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like a motivational Reader's Digest or something.
Yeah, it's motivational, but it doesn't have Christian overtones to my knowledge.
I thought it did. That's why I never.
It's
I
just
thought it did too.
They may have
Maybe
had,
back in the day it did.
yeah, they may have had some versions or some specific ones that did. I don't know.
Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul.
Oh,
boy.
my parents bought me that one. I remember I did not read it.
You didn't read it,
No, I didn't read it.
and this is why you were writing
There's
letters
a
in
lot of
summer
them.
camp.
Holy cow! I did not realize
Yeah,
there were
it's
this
crazy
many.
now. They didn't used to. I mean, it used to be just the main one, and then I think the teenage one was like the first offshoot, maybe.
I know that the guys probably can't answer this, or maybe they can, but I don't think so. Did you ever get one of those American Girl body books or American Girl?
Oh my
teenage
gosh!
books?
Yes, I did.
Oh, do tell.
Damn it, Brent.
I don't.
I
have
didn't
it
get
recorded.
American Girl, but I got
Oh
like
my god, there
What?
are so many of these.
Yes.
What the fuck?
oh my god.
What? Oh my god. Who wrote this shit? Because oh my god, there's so much.
Okay, if they're not Christian, then they need to have a chicken soup for the gay soul or for the lesbian soul. Is that on there? If not, they're Christian.
I mean, more into vegetable soup. It's fine.
Chicken Soup for the Soul Family Matters, and I saw Chicken Soup for the African American Soul. So they're for the soul of America, for the American Idol soul.
Oh.
They do have Angels and Miracles.
IDLE
Answered
or
Prayers,
IDOL?
IDOL. But yeah, they have Christian offshoots, but then they have
American
like,
Idol Soul. There we go.
Breast Cancer Survivor Soul, Bride Soul, cartoons for dads, moms, teachers.
They do cartoons and chickens. What?
Yeah.
That's wild.
For the cat lover soul.
So
Well,
the
David
s-
did have one of those books then.
they have a cookbook. They've got. That's what I should do. I should buy the Chicken Soup for the Soul cookbook and cook that.
Oh my god.
Yum.
Oh man.
Divorce and recovery for the dog lover soul. Empty nesters.
Wait, divorce for dog owners?
No.
This is like really niche.
Divorce and recovery,
Okay.
and then for the dog lover soul.
Oh, I see. I was gonna say divorce recovery for
Divorce
dog
dog
owners.
lovers.
Like, can I
Are
get a
you
copy of
the
that?
dog?
What?
The dog chicken soup for the soul. The dog did what?
Oh boy.
This
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense now as to how Laura got her story in here.
I mean, look, when you have the older dogs, I know how it is. It's a challenge.
Golfer's soul. A soul to grandma with love.
Wait, chicken soup for the soul. I can't believe my cat did that.
Oh, chicken soup for the horse lover's soul.
Oh.
There's a sequel. Look at that.
I can believe your cat did that, Schnitzel.
Chicken soup for the soul. Just us girls.
Wait, is that real?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it is. Oh my god, it's right there.
Oh my god, these are great.
Yeah, you're not allowed to read that one, Brad.
God dang it.
I feel like he probably has already. It's fine.
Rude.
I mean, you can, just don't tell me, because I will
He's
narc on
blocking
you.
that shelf on his bookshelf.
Yo.
Chicken soup for the NASCAR soul.
Like mother, like daughter, living with Alzheimer's and other dementias, but they're gonna forget what they read. I'm sorry. But like,
Chicken soup for the soul. Oh, Canada. The wonders of winter.
I'm trying to imagine this must be for families or something.
I
The living with
made a-
Alzheimer's one.
We were at a Christmas party last week, and I made this terrible joke. They were saying how Bruce Wilson came out and said that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and I said, "Well, his opinion doesn't count. He's got dementia. He can't remember."
Oh, no.
And
My
they're like,
granny,
"Wow, that is dark as hell." And I'm like, "What?"
My granny, she lives in a nursing home, like right up the road. She's less than 5 minutes away from me, but she has Alzheimer's, so she forgets a lot of stuff. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, my granny would, even if she read Living with Alzheimer's and Other Dementias, this must be for families because there's no way she would ever remember any of that. Like, the way she asked me, like, and I love her to death, but like, she asked me like 6 times a day when I visit her. Well, not even 6 times a day, 6 times a minute when I visit her. She's like, "You have such nice teeth. What did you do to get such nice teeth?" And I'm like, "I love you, but I explained this for." And I'll keep going back and I'll keep answering the question, but it's still, I'm just like, nobody with this disease is reading the fucking book, or at least with an advanced type of that disease. So yeah, she's a taco soup for the lesbian soul. It should
Oh
be.
my!
That should be a thing. They would actually sell books if they wrote that.
They have that.
Some of these are mothers. Network marketer soul. So Canada and the wonders of winter. All right. Power moms. Anything else weird here? Let's see. Single parent soul. That's nice. I guess it's not weird.
They have
Stories
over
for a better
200
world.
I wonder if Ingrid
250.
has that whole set of for the teenage soul.
Oh God!
You can read those, Brad.
No. I just mean he's young at heart, guys.
Yeah.
Mm,
Okay.
no,
Chicken soup for
not-
the
not-
teenage soul and love and friendship. Somebody should have got me that one because I got confused. Now I'm a homosexual. All right. Anyways, chicken soup for the soul, volunteering and giving back. That's actually, somebody should buy that for a bunch of people. I don't know. I've obviously never read any of these guys, but I
Read
probably
the
wouldn't.
last one, Lauren.
The last one, sopa de pollo alma de los padres.
Yep.
What
There it
was
is.
the point of that? What
How are
is it?
these guys going bankrupt? This
your
seems
fan.
like it would just be an automatic moneymaker on Kindle or something, you know?
True. Maybe they have too many different types.
Mm.
I'm gonna write a
don't
chicken
know.
a soup for the sarcastic. Like,
Well, it says there's a footnote on the about section of this book that says Chicken Soup for the Soul solicits and publishes stories from the LGBTQ community and from people of all ethnicities, nationalities, and religions.
which book is that?
That's just
Right.
a sub piece.
Oh, okay. I thought it was maybe chicken soup for the gay or something that I missed. But
Exactly.
yeah, I'm kind of disappointed now. All right. let's see. Here's the last of these emails. We'll read this, and then we'll go on to talking about the Redditor and the video that came out yesterday, because that's been a doozy. We'll show some of the tweets because they're nutty. Okay, here's the last email. It's from the lawyer to Mike. Mike, please call me the lawyer. Just FYI, there's an ethical rule for lawyers that says I'm not allowed to communicate about a case directly with a represented party, meaning someone who currently is represented by a lawyer, unless I have consent from that person's lawyer. The limit only applies to discussions about the matter in which the person is represented. So, for example, if you're represented by a lawyer in a lawsuit involving a car accident, if I was the opposing lawyer, I could not speak directly with you about the car accident without your lawyer's permission. But I could still talk to you about something else, sports, the weather, politics, etc. I know that's a weird rule. It's not weird. It's not weird at all. But it's something I take seriously.
Why does he feel like he has to do this? Explain like I'm 5, condescending like.
I don't know. I actually don't mind
explanation about this. Like, did somebody ask him about this? Like,
I think it's a CYA matter because he's trying to explain it so that if he gets challenged on it, he's like, no, I was explaining why and why it's completely appropriate for me to inquire without directly talking about the matter at hand.
Yeah, maybe that's why it feels like talking to a used car salesman, I guess.
Yes.
I got a big ask, guys. I need to go to the bathroom. So can somebody else read these next couple of paragraphs?
Yes, someone will.
Will you read it in a British accent?
If I have to.
Okay, do it.
Do you have a British accent, Brad?
That's what I was doing with my dramatic readings.
That was a villain voice. I guess it was British.
Yeah, it was sort of British.
Wow.
In this situation, it's not clear to me whether anyone represents you with respect to Laura's case. I know Randy Sue Pollock previously represented you in respect to the California Order of Protection stuff, which is all resolved now. To my knowledge, she does not represent you with respect to the Arizona case involving Laura and Clayton. I also don't think Greg Woodnick is representing you with respect to Laura's case. He's never claimed to be acting as your lawyer. So at this point, I think you are technically not represented in respect to Laura's case, but I am not 100% clear on this. It is entirely possible for a lawyer to represent you with respect to one thing, but not in respect to something else. So to err on the side of caution, I need to make sure that if you are represented by anyone with respect to the Arizona case, I have permission from your lawyer to talk to you about the Arizona trial. Bearing in mind, I understand you don't want to talk about this at this point. If you are not represented, that's fine. I just need to know. I am only mentioning this to you so you don't think I was ignoring your comments below. I do want to respond, and I do want to encourage you beyond to change your mind about talking to me. I promise it's not a big deal. But I just need to make sure you aren't represented by anyone first, since that hasn't been made clear by either Greg or Randy Sue. P.S. I removed that tweet from yesterday, and I'm happy to remove anything else you ask.
Well.
I guess.
Any comments on that?
I mean, most of us have seen this email before, but it's rehashing the same point. So it just feels like it just goes on forever.
Yes. Yes, it does. Let's see. Do we have... I was going to go to Reddit and see if
we can't control the...
I know.
Oh, the stage.
Yeah.
See if I could
Do you know exactly which tweet he's mentioning in this postscript?
That would be the one where he posted the video of the demo.
Yeah, and the picture of them.
In the picture, yeah.
Okay.
I can't imagine being Mike and just seeing that pop up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can't imagine
being
Mike. I'm back.
Oh, Lauren, you're
all right.
Lauren, you're echoing.
Your audio is leaking.
I had my phone on because I was watching it while I was in the bathroom.
Oh.
I was going
As one does. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, as one does.
How many people in chat do you think are in the bathroom right now?
I don't know. That's a good
Just
question.
like, wow, this stream's great.
The first time I
Should I
came
take
on,
another poll?
you should. Who's in the bathroom right now?
What have I done?
All right. Let's we'll go back to Reddit. Hang on. Oh, we should look at the subpoena also. But what were you looking for on the Reddit post?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to bring up the email so we could scroll up and read like the top email.
The one from Mike?
No, just on the thing that you had open, but like to scroll to the top to read like the next email.
Oh, I thought that was the last one. My bad.
Or maybe it was it?
I think
It
it
might
was.
have Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Mike, please call me David one. That was the last one, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so here is the subpoena, guys. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. And you can tell it's a valid, subpoena or whatever. It explains what's going on. You're right to object to the subpoena, which is going to be relevant in a second because we have another instance where somebody might need to object to a subpoena by David Gingras. The lawyer. Let's see. Procedure after objecting. It's just explaining all that. Should we read that? I don't know if we should read that. It might be a little boring and procedural. So we'll that's on the Reddit post, guys. I'll post the link here to the Reddit post in the chat. So if you want to read the whole subpoena, you can. There it is right there. Sir Crazy says his name is Baby Chingy. I just can't bring myself to say Baby Chingy. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just can't do it.
I understand it's a stand-up comedic device that Dave has created, but
Yeah, I mean, he does it. I'm like, I don't have a problem with him doing it, but I'm just like, I just can't do it.
I understand it's a comedic device, but it grates my ears when he does it in the way that he does it. Because he went wild with it for like 4 minutes on one video, and I was like, I can't listen to this.
I love when Dave goes over the top. I don't know why, but I love it so much. And like, especially when he gets like really into what he's doing and he does this kind of yelling that's like a squawky voice.
Hey!
And I can't explain it. But there was this one clip of him, and I have it saved somewhere where he did it, and it was like, class is in session, bitch! And I was like, oh my god.
yeah. I mean, sometimes Dave makes videos because it's his channel and he's got to make video. And sometimes he makes videos for himself because it's the video he wants to make, which is good.
The one I'm referencing to is the one where he had the little microphone and he's
the
like
baby microphone,
not just doing it into the microphone, but he's doing it into the terrible quality speaker baby microphone, and then that's
mic.
getting picked up in
I have to say, I
know.
I
love
that.
the baby DJ mic. It's great.
Oh, it's great, but when he's screaming "Baby Jingy" into the bad mic,
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh, my mom just texted me my shoes got to her house. I got shoes for Christmas, but she forgot to hit the buy button, so they're here now. She got me some shoes, but she forgot to finish the process.
I got them in my cart. That's funny.
Yeah, she's pretty silly. All right, let's see. Now we're gonna get into this stuff with the Redditor, which I touched on briefly last night. I was talking about how he said, I wasn't smart enough to be the Redditor because I said, I'm pretty sure he thinks the Redditor was me. He says, no, I knew it wasn't Lauren. I never thought that because she's not smart enough to have thought those things. It's hilarious. You can see right through that because he obviously did, because the reason he put out, the subpoena in the first place was because he saw me reading the Redditor's post on my stream, number one. Number two, he keeps being paranoid about who the person's real identity is. And number three, he's, proved himself to be like kind of a crazy paranoid fuck. So like, I don't think it was that much of a leap to say he assumed it was me.
No,
fact, I'm
he
pretty sure he did.
assumed it was you.
Yeah,
100%.
that's what
and
I
that's
think
why
too.
he wants to know the real identity of the person.
Mhm.
And so, as I said last night, people pointed out, like, hey, why didn't you just message the Redditor and say, hey, can you take your post down? I don't like what you're doing. It would have cost him nothing, unlike filing the subpoena. It would have been quicker. And it wouldn't involve all this like legal drama. He said he feels entitled to the Reddit user's real personal information. So this is clearly not about getting the post removed. He didn't want to message the person because that wouldn't be enough.
Also, what they did
he-
isn't fucking illegal,
right.
bitch.
And he wants to scare people who are like, expressing their opinions and stuff like that behind anonymous usernames. And then the reason they're using anonymous usernames in the first place is because they don't want to be harassed by this guy. And he
Or his
wants to
client.
show people, as we'll see in his recent tweets, he wants to make an example out of someone. He doesn't use those words exactly, but he does describe making an example out of someone. He says he wants to teach JFC a lesson. And that's what that is. So you don't have to say those exact words, but that's exactly what's happening. It is, in my opinion, more than enough proof to show that he's harassing people with these threats of lawsuits, like he did with me and with anyone else who's making YouTube videos, when he said, if anyone from JFC uses any part of my video, I will sue them. You know that fair use applies. You know you cannot do that. So it's just about harassment, in my opinion.
Yep.
I
agree.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very weird. I mean, if I had a post on Reddit and somebody was in the comments section and said, hey, this is related to my story, my material, my whatever, my life story, whatever, let's not talk about it, I would just take it down. Like,
So Reddit has
just be a rational person.
Reddit has not responded, to my knowledge, to the, because someone stir crazy said Reddit gave in. They have not responded to the subpoena yet, and they may deny the subpoena.
And I mean, even if they, what would they do? Just say, here's what the name and email address is for this account or something? Like, so what?
Well, I think
And what do you do?
the process is Reddit gives, or they already sent the notification to the user saying, hey, we've received this subpoena.
See, they didn't.
She hasn't gotten that
They
yet.
didn't
she hasn't
send the
gotten that?
notification to her yet.
Okay.
No.
Apparently not.
Well, in theory, they should,
They should, yes.
but because unless it's a government order that comes with a gag order that would say, no, you cannot alert the user for XYZ reason, then they would be able to at least notify the user and say, hey, we received a request for your information, and give them whatever sufficient window to be able to file for the quash of the subpoena. And then from there, they can either choose to respond with the information or try and
have
fight
a
it on
lawyer,
their own.
or hire a lawyer to respond on their behalf, so they don't have to give up their identity.
That's why Omar, I had Omar send my counter on my behalf so he wouldn't have my address and my phone number.
Also, Reddit, you don't have to sign up with like
Your real name
at gmail.com. Like,
Right.
I mean, you can put whatever email address, and we all know that there are certain emails like that Laura has probably taught most of us about that don't link to any personal information. So
I will state, though, as people in the chat are mentioning, that unless someone is deliberate in the way that they access Reddit, and someone who is by his own account, an internet lawyer, would be familiar enough with the ways to be able to unmask someone's identity.
I mean, IP address is going to be given, but I'm just saying, like, it would be very difficult to nail that down to a specific address to be able to
You could use a
identity.
VPN. Brad, could you use like what is it called? Proton Mail, stuff like that to sign up for Reddit? Like, would that make a difference if they use like a VPN and stuff like that?
So, I mean, I'm not going to go into all of the things, but there are things that you can do to obfuscate you. However, for the untrained user, the likelihood is that they haven't.
Yeah.
And if they're just accessing it from their home IP address, then as soon as he has an IP address, you can correlate it based on which ISP owns that block, and then it's another subpoena to the ISP to say who has this IP address at this particular time, and then they can either choose to respond or not on that as well. And that's just wearing someone down in legal fees, because they then have to respond for Reddit side, for the ISP side.
And it's also the IP address of where like the account was created, or the IP address of where the account is accessed. Those are could be two different things. And those are two different pieces of information.
But I guess, let's say he knows exactly who that person is. So what? What's he gonna do? Send them an email? Call them on the phone? What? Like, who cares?
He
Well,
says
like-
it's just about having a conversation, but you cannot force someone to talk to you, especially if she gets an attorney.
Like, if this dude sent me an email or called my phone, like, I just wouldn't answer it.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know.
Julie Halverson says exactly he thinks he'll wear them down, and what we were just talking about. And that's why, like, when he's been threatening me with lawsuits and stuff like that, I'm not backing down. I'm like, fine, come at me. Like, fine, I'll do what I have to. I talked to a copyright lawyer. I talked to multiple lawyers, and I got myself informed. And if he does, because like he said, he does have 3 years from the alleged offense to file a copyright lawsuit. And I'm just like, fine, you know what? If that's what you're going to do it. Fuck you.
He's
You're
picked
not
all
gonna
the
wear
wrong
me down.
people. He's picked all the wrong people to try to fuck with.
Well, he picked the people that he thought, were the weakest or the easiest to get to. And it's not
They
working.
weren't. They're not.
No. Because like I said a million times before, like, even if I lose, I'm going to fight for what I believe in. I'm going to fight for what I think is right. Even if I have to do it by myself, like, fuck you. I'm not going to let you like steamroll over me like that. You're not going to scare me.
Mhm.
So, like, as stressful as it's been and will be every time he brings it up for the next 3 years, I'm not going to roll over on that. I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I did everything wrong, because I don't believe that I did. I don't think I did.
You didn't.
One interesting thing to bring up: his most recent video talking about that charge from the bar was about a video that was released 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago Tuesday. In that time since then, he wrote 70 pages and included 200 exhibits for that pending bar lawsuit that he wants to file.
But he has so many other clients. How does he have time for that?
I think the mere knowledge of who the Reddit person is, he most likely already has his copyright lawsuit ready to go. He just needs to serve it on the person.
Mm-hmm.
And his talking about how he just wants to talk is just mouth service for for what his ultimate goal is, which is to be able to serve them with the copyright lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He could do it. And what he would probably do first, in my case, from the information that I've gathered from actual copyright attorneys with respectable reputations, is he will probably try to file in Arizona first. I would have to file a motion to dismiss because that's not the jurisdiction that I fall under. And I would have to have help from like a legal aid or something to do that, a legal aid in Arizona. Then he would have to file here in Florida, and I would have to fight it here. So, like, he would probably try to file in Arizona first just to waste my time and money that he knows I have limited resources of. So he's just trying to be a dick. You know what I mean? Like, and with the Redditor,
He doesn't have to
he's just
try.
trying to be a dick. No. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. It's just wild. Anyways, let's share the screen here so we can see a little bit about what's been going on recently. And I'm not going to show any of the video, guys, but I know, Cecily, did you watch the video yesterday?
I sure did.
Did all of you watch the video yesterday?
I did.
I did not. I would not watch it. Bruce, did you watch it?
No, but I think, you can show the transcript and pause it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what Laura does to see like if anyone's mentioned her in a video.
I usually just like the transcript because I don't really want to watch this guy or listen to this guy.
No, I'm not doing that. No. I haven't watched it. No.
This makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like an icky feeling. It's kind of like I don't really want to. It's like I want to know kind of if he says anything relevant, but I don't want to just listen to him talk because I don't, especially when he's trying to play himself off as like the nice guy with the cute cat or whatever. I'm like, well, I already fell for that, and obviously it was bullshit. So, what are you gonna do? What I'm gonna do is not listen to it anymore. Luckily, I have friends who are willing to still watch it and discuss it with me. So I'm not going to be like, nobody watch this. You know what I mean? I've never said that, and I'm not going to say that because in order for me to stay informed, I need other people to watch it.
I'm the terrible person that watches it in full because I prefer to hear it from his mouth in the inflections that he uses and different things that a transcript can't necessarily provide.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that because
1.5 times.
I appreciate that because then you can speak on it with like the full knowledge of what was said and stuff like that, and I can stay like informed listening to people kind of have debates about this or discussions about this, fair use discussions without having to watch the entire things myself. So I don't want to watch them. So whether or not somebody else watches them and talks about it, whether or not somebody else watches them and does recaps, I'm not going to watch it.
Mhm.
It's just not going to happen. So it's not taking away views from him because I was never going to view it. So, that's just how it is. So this is somebody sent me a screenshot of this earlier. Our pal Lethal Lauren, and he still tweets at Clayton Justice and tries to pretend that he doesn't follow social media and stuff. And I'm like, oh, dude, you're literally tweeting at Clayton Justice. But they said, our pal Lethal Lauren's going live, and then he said he's not watching. I don't know why he felt like he needed to announce he's not watching, probably to cover up the fact that he's watching. And he said, of course you're watching. He says, yes, watching my cat lick herself, which is more relevant than hearing what's her face spreading lies and hate as she always does.
That's weird, man. I mean, this is a constant theme. He's like, Dave is lying, Omar's lying, Lauren's lying. Well, give me
lying about what the emails you wrote.
Exactly. What? Like what? Give me a URL, give me a timestamp, give me a sentence, and refute it and convince me. I can be convinced. But if you just have this vague platitude on X, I can't do anything with it. I can't verify it. I can't understand it. It's just rhetoric. It's so useless.
I don't know, man. Like that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's like I would rather watch my cat lick herself, which is more relevant than Lauren or whatever. But then obviously he's tweeting about me, even though I have him blocked. He surpasses the block, which is fine. It's allowed to do that now on Twitter to read my posts. But you can't pretend you don't care or that I'm not relevant to you if you're going to do that. So like I obviously, go past the block to read his post because he's a lawyer in a public interest case that I'm covering. I will admit that. Like I want to know what he's saying. I think it's relevant to the situation that I'm talking about. But he's trying to play it off as like, I don't care, she's not relevant. But then he's like watching me and tweeting out my picture and my tweets and stuff like that all the time. And I'm just like, dude, this is the second or third time you've done this. Obviously, I own a piece of real estate in your brain. Like, just be honest about it.
She's just not that into you, dude.
Also, yeah, it is a little weird to like watch your cat lick itself and then even take a photo of it. Like, that's
that wasn't
like,
the move. That was
Is
not
there
the
anything
move.
below that?
That's just any probably, but that's just like
I don't know.
any.
I feel like
PR.
I have enough respect for my cats that I wouldn't take a photo of them licking themselves and put it on the internet. Like,
Oh, I would
this
do that
seems-
to my cat.
Well, this is a guy who's
I have done
allegedly.
that to my cat.
It doesn't
Allegedly
matter
doing
what the
PR.
cat is doing. People will enjoy seeing it.
I mean, cats are nice, but I mean, I'm just saying for him to do that, like he's doing that. It's not the cat's fault.
I didn't know Laura was streaming tonight. Here, what's her face spreading lies and hate? Oh, that's no. Okay, all right. And then people said Lady doth protest too much because I love my cats. I know that Aurora loves you
Right.
because you feed her. However, I'd rather watch Aurora lick her ass than hear you justify anything your client has done to multiple people.
Wait, what?
Oh my god. Anyways, so when a grown man who, like, I don't know how old this guy is, but when a grown man says my haters, something's going on there because nobody says that. Like,
This is
anymore.
weird. Like, who are
Nobody
these
says
haters?
that unironically.
Like, who is it? And how do
Anyone
you
with a rational thought, apparently.
how do you demonstrate that they don't like reality? Like, this is a strange claim. Like,
Yeah.
number one, who are the haters and what happened such that they don't care about reality? Like, it's just a
Right.
weird claim. Doesn't make sense.
Oh my god. This just like, it's such a weird scenario. I feel like that this guy's in. Hang on, let me see. It appears David is completely unhinged and unraveling. He's now calling the JFC community a terrorist organization, likening it to ISIS, Al Qaeda, and Hezbollah. When is enough enough? And they tag the Arizona State Bar. How much longer are you going to allow this grossly unprofessional lawyer to demean the profession? And I agree with that. But I've never contacted or anything with the State Bar, but I agree with what they're saying. Nothing about his behavior since entering the Owens v. Eckerd case back in March has been professional or ethical. It's time to take action.
The thing that's so funny is he refuses to provide more classification. If you scroll up, he goes back to what was that?
Apparently in comments now too, so he deletes stuff with.
No, if you scroll up to that thing, he says, "Ask them how they judge who is part of their club and who isn't." But
what are you talking about, bro?
The point, well, of course, there's no organization. The answer to this is there is no way to determine who cares about this case and who doesn't, because it could be any arbitrary member of the public.
Right.
The problem is he made a video earlier where he's like, okay, if you're following the case, you're not in a cult. If you support Clayton, you're not in a cult. If you think, if you don't agree with Laura Owens, you're not in a cult. But if you make a flyer and send it to a gym, you're in a cult. So he had, which to me was like, okay, so an online internet troll is your definition of cult, which of course, again, that's not really a cult. It's an online troll. You have to use the correct word for the correct thing substantively. Otherwise, it's just semantics. And it's confusing if you use the incorrect semantics. So this is just another thing where he's just like punting the football, because he doesn't have a case to make here to explain, like when he says JFC, who is that? Where's the list? Like, what scientific test do you do to put someone in or out? There is none. That means it doesn't mean anything. There's no cult. There's no terrorist organization. There's no hate club. None of those things are real. It's all just this weird, scary, monster in the closet in his mind.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It's all pretty crazy. And there's some comments on the video too that are nutty that we'll go through. But for right this second, I want to ask guys who watched the video, what's going on with the bar guy? What's the situation there?
So in the way that he mentioned it, a person who is not a lawyer or not active in a case submits a bar complaint. There's no one to file a proper charge against, so it's the bar that's making the complaint against them. But the weird thing about this is this wasn't about any of the things that were discussed about previously. This was only about the video that he posted that he was discussing Judge Motto with.
Mm-hmm. And he mentions what he called JFC members total fucking psychotic assholes. That's mentioned in the complaint as well.
Yeah.
And it I think they're implying that it could be seen as like harassment of Clayton because it's harassment of his supporters.
Yeah. Sorry, one second. Natalia says that something's consciously possible. So many others are covering it, but they're obsessed with Dave and Lauren. Make no mistake, he's obsessed with me because he's obsessed with Dave. And Dave kind of like put me on the map because I was not really sure about this whole YouTube thing. I was editing show reels for a show called Wentworth, which Bruce still has to finish. And that was pretty much the extent of my YouTube, and it was a different channel, not this one, so you won't see it here. But I put out a video last year. It's been almost a year now, if not a year, talking about this case because I've been working in psych for a long time, and I saw Dave was getting a lot of shit for continuing to cover the case when people were like, well, she's clearly sick. What you're doing is like wrong. Like, she's a sick person who needs help. And I step in and I'm like, no, dude, no, this is not a sick person who needs help. This is somebody who knows that what they're doing is wrong and they're doing it deliberately to hurt people. So you guys need to back off. So I was kind of like, I'm tired of hearing about how people who commit crimes and people who abuse people, there's just, they have problems. You should leave them alone. No, they need to be held accountable just like anybody else. And so that's kind of why I got into this whole thing. And Dave encouraged me to keep making YouTube videos, and here I am. So it's definitely, relevant that Dave, helped me get to where I am, and that Dave and I are friends, and that Dave and I talk about the same subjects, that they are now watching and targeting me and stuff like that. Because make no mistake, their primary obsession is Dave. But I just happen to be adjacent to him, and that's why they're kind of nudging at me, because they're like, oh my gosh, Dave didn't talk about me today. And she got so used to Dave covering the story every day. And now he's got other things going on in his life. He's like a real father to a real child. And she can't stand it. And so now she has to look for that attention elsewhere.
There was a theory going around that because Dave announced that Mike is expecting their second child soon, that Gingras wanted to put out a video to try and put down on his happiness by making other content. And I don't think he's that calculating on it. I just think that it happened to coincide.
I think Mike probably doesn't give a shit, honestly, about like whatever he posted the other day. Was it yesterday? I don't remember, the day before. It was yesterday, I think. I think if I had to guess, that doesn't really like pertain to Mike's upcoming child. So like that was a massive fail on David's part or whatever. But like if that were the case,
Mike doesn't follow any of this shit.
No,
on his own. He does not.
No.
Care.
I like when I was in court, I had the camera. Obviously, I was filming, and he was sitting right behind me, so he introduced himself and stuff like that. But he didn't know, like, we didn't know anything about each other really, other than what had been said about him and like the court filings or like David's little rants on Twitter and stuff like that. So he doesn't seem like somebody who really sits there and keeps track of all this the way David clearly does with his cat pictures and saying like, "Oh, my cat's better than Lauren. My cat's better than Lauren." You know what I mean? Like, please keep trying to convince people. Like, I don't know, dude.
Not just his cat's butt.
Cat butts are, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah. Amy Bonner says people hate watch him. No one else actually believes his nonsense. And I've tried to say that before. He could have made himself a nice, cushy, like, second career off of YouTube if he wanted to, but he shot himself in the foot and did everything wrong right off the gate. Refused to listen to Legal Vices, who was like, obviously, he was always somebody who was like very, I felt like, diplomatic. He never wanted to like be involved in drama. Like, he always saw things very objectively, and he was always trying to be helpful. Even with David, he was trying to be helpful, and like David wouldn't listen. So like, if you won't take advice from somebody like that, it's not surprising that he is spiraling. So but he massively failed in this YouTube thing because of how he decided to handle himself. So,
and I think he wanted to announce it before the community got their hands on any information. So I think he wanted it to come from him so he could put his
spin on it,
smear his shit all over it first.
Kat Thompson, thank you for the 20 love Lauren's energy and giggles. Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate you.
I mean, if there was somebody in the public audience who was like, "Hey, I watched the February thing. I watched the June 10th thing. I think Laura's in the right." We could interview them. We could talk with them, but they don't exist. Like, they don't.
If anybody believes her story and believes that she was pregnant with twins in this case, and like will prove to me that they are who they say they are, like prove to me that you're an actual person and not David or Laura behind an account. We'll talk about it. I'm happy to have a rational discussion about it. Like, I'm not opposed to that. There just is no one.
It's
there
so
is
hard.
No one.
The only person we could find was Critical K, and all she would do is talk about how Brad needs to stop having casual sex all the time or whatever.
Yeah, but that wasn't even so much against Laura, or for Laura. It was so much that Clayton was an F boy and needed to stop.
Yeah, that's the best we could find. I mean,
Jesus. Yeah, I remember that whole thing. And Tori was like working overtime trying to put this lady in her place, and the lady finally left. I remember that. Oh my
gosh, wild.
That was nutty. I can't believe she was like arguing like against modern like ideas about like sex and relationships and stuff, and I feel like that's what I remember. Is she was?
And I mean,
being
you can
very,
do
like-
that. You just need to do it calmly, and we'll.
No, she
talk
was
about
like
it.
she was like
Yeah,
fuming and being like
I know,
things that
right?
she didn't say. Obviously, she didn't say this exactly, but she was like, "Clayton's a dirty little whore. It's his fault that this happened."
I mean, like we could have talked about it, but she got a little fired up. Anyway,
I remember because Hines also was trying to like steer the
Mhm.
conversation in a productive direction, and she was just like shouting over him and stuff. I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
but
God."
yeah,
She rage quit, but she was brought on
Mhm.
because she believed that Karen Reed was actually guilty of having
yeah.
killed
Yeah.
the trooper.
Karen Reed case, yeah.
Yeah,
But the funny
Which
thing
is
is,
fine. I mean,
that particular woman was on the opposite side of where the general public seems to be on most issues, which is
Mhm.
so weird to find someone who just is contrarian on all those things. Because she was also she supported Amber Heard in the Heard v. Depp case, which is also weird. But there's a lot more Amber Heard people than
yeah.
Laura
Yeah.
supporters.
Well, if you can keep it on the rails, I think it's okay because it's good to test. Like if you have a position, it's good to test that position. So it's good to have a conversation with somebody who can maybe play the devil's advocate, or maybe they really believe Karen Reed is guilty. And even in the Karen Reed case, I think there's a split, right? There's people that think maybe she's guilty, and there's a split of people that
there
think
was
there's
one
something
time
crazy going on. But like in all these other cases, there's always a split. And in this case, I can't find the split.
I one time, just to like be nice at the end of one of my videos, I tried to raid a smaller channel who was talking about the Karen Reed case, and I didn't realize they were this insanely like anti-Karen Reed troll. And I was just like, "Oh shit!" I sent people to like this horrible place. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
So yeah, that was nutty. So nutty.
Well, I mean, I don't mind the Minority Report or the Devil's Advocate as long as people don't go
Yeah.
off the rails, right? Like,
Right, yeah.
and that's the problem with this, because all we can do is sort of analyze what he's putting on Twitter or what he's putting in his videos.
hmm
And when he lacks specificity, like he says, "Oh, Dave's lying about something," I'm like, I want to understand what it is so I can go validate it or figure it out or root cause it. But he just lacks the specificity to do anything productive.
Yeah.
So it's disappointing.
Let's see. Teardot says the Karen Reed haters are really scary, really scary. I've heard that. I didn't like I said, I didn't follow the case very closely, so I don't know a whole lot about that. But I just I felt icky when I sent people over to that channel, and they were just like, "Oh my God, Lauren, what did you do?" I was like, I had no idea that they were like a huge anti-Karen Reed channel. Like, oh,
I mean, it could be interesting to watch just to try and understand things, as long as they're not like super, like you said, when people get all angry and stuff and they're just ranting at the camera. I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, you can do that a little bit, but not
Yeah.
like the whole video.
Yeah. I don't really have a super strong opinion about the Karen Reed thing, but like the fact that I sent someone over to everyone over to an extremist was just like, Lauren, what are you doing? And I don't even remember the name of the channel. Because it was just one time, but I was just like, you know what? I'm never sending people to a random person again. I was just trying to be nice.
Lauren keeps redirecting us to the Westboro Baptist Church, guys. What's going on?
Well, I figured since they're always at the parades and I wanted you guys to be able to attend, it would be the easiest way to get you there. Oh,
They've gone quiet recently. I have not heard them being as active as they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Patrick says, "Hey Lauren, I'm trying to buy some of your notebooks and see shipping is $11.98. Any reason for that? $11.98? That's bullshit. Let me check on that. Let me check on that. What am I?
Well, Patrick, you're getting legal sized notebooks. That's the problem. You got to get the regular sized ones.
Oh boy.
Notebooks.
Shipping.
Which one? The hardcover or the spiral? Or
Can you make a free shipping code? Moose free.
Maybe I can. Is there a way to do that?
Hashtag free the moose for 10% off shipping. What?
Bruce, can you tell me how to do that? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Let me try it. Let's see. Add to cart. Check out.
Careful.
I mean, this isn't your own shopping cart, right? I mean,
No, it's not.
You are going to put your address in here, right?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna put
You
my
show the
address.
whole internet.
Let's put like hold on. Let me,
Just
Give me 1
remove
second.
it from the stage so that we.
Yeah,
Put the library.
let me
Public
do
library.
this real quick. Let me just put it in my address for everyone to see. It'll be fine.
Just
Okay.
put, you know,
Give me 1 second.
Scottsdale, Arizona in there.
Yeah, let me see if it's everybody or just Patrick. Maybe they hate Patrick. I don't know. 4, 5, 7, 1.
Patrick says he's getting both the hardcover and not.
Both. Okay. So for me, it says shipping $5.99.
And he's
So I
in
don't-
like Virginia too. So that's not
Yeah,
that far
he's
away.
not. No, he's not very far away. I don't know, Patrick. I'll text you later and we'll work it out. So maybe I could just like me send it to you directly, and that'll help. I don't know, but I'll text you after this stream because I have not. I saw that you texted me earlier. I just have not really checked my phone today. I was napping at 6 p.m. So that's how my day went. But yeah, we'll work it out. Patrick, do you want to come on the stream for a minute and talk about the subpoena thing? If you do, please let me
Ooh.
know because I will
Oh.
happily have you on. I'll Reddit message you a link right now. Hang on.
Time has no meaning until after New Year's.
Dude, between Christmas Eve and New Year's, it's just nutty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What have you guys done the last couple days?
Well, I've been sick and my son has too, so we've just been kind of playing with his new toys and
Your toys.
hanging out. My toy? No. Well, I don't even have those kinds of toys.
I was assuming you were playing with Legos. What's wrong with you?
My toy? No. He loves Legos. He's obsessed with Legos, and I tolerate Legos. But anyway, yeah. So we've just been kind of chilling at home and
Mhm.
doing that.
Oh man. Bruce, what have you been doing?
I don't know.
Okay, Brad.
We haven't left the house since Friday, so
Hmm. Okay, fair enough. So like everybody's pretty much doing nothing.
Yep.
It's like, what do you do between holidays when they're so close together?
I mean, there's football and there's Hallmark Christmas movies. I don't know. It's a blur. It's a blur.
I did
It's
watch
like-
Game Season 2.
Between and
oh,
you-
I haven't watched that yet. No spoilers.
it's all crazy. It's like, oh, Sam Darnold is in romance with Lacey Chabert. Okay, sure. The Vikings. I don't know.
Did you see the one where they're what is she? I don't know. They're explorers and they're trying to find this like lost treasure.
Oh, the Iceland one.
yeah.
Hmm.
I thought it was okay. I feel like I thought it would be better than it was.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a
I
little
think they're all
Tomb Raider-y.
disappointing to some degree.
It wasn't my favorite.
Mhm.
I also
Did you
did
like
thought
that or
the two
Frosty
people didn't
better?
have good chemistry.
Yeah.
Patrick, yes, you can join from your phone. Just click on the link I sent you in the Reddit message. So I have not watched Squid Game season 2 yet. I've been meaning to, but I started watching All Saints, which is this Australian medical drama, and I've never seen it before. So
Oh.
and it's like 40 plus episodes per season, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I've never had such a hard time binging something because there's so many episodes. I'm like, why am I not done yet? So yeah.
Oh.
Brad.
Well, I'll say I won't give you any spoilers, but there is going to be a season 3, and that's going to be the
Oh.
series finale, and that's coming out in either the summer or the fall of 25. So this
Gotcha.
upcoming year.
Of
Well,
what?
that's
Squid
pretty
Games?
soon. Yeah.
Mhm.
Squid Game.
Dang.
We should apply to the reality Squid Game TV show.
I got to work with some guys from
Francis,
Netflix.
no.
I got to work with some guys from Netflix like a few years ago, but they were like tech
Yeah.
guys, so they didn't know it. Like I was like, "Give me spoilers about this and that," and they were like, "We don't know. They don't let us. They don't tell
Yeah.
us.
Oh my gosh.
You got to go on the internet and read spoilers like everybody else." I'm like, "Oh man."
Bastards. So Patrick's gonna come on and talk to us about this in a minute, but also, hold on, let me fix this real quick because our heads are in the way. There we go. Also, Brad, I'm curious, what did you get your kid for Christmas? Because kids get the best presents.
So he got, surprisingly enough, we got him a kitchen set so that he can play kitchen on his own.
Big hits.
Oh, so it's like Cooking with Brad, but it's not
Yeah.
Cooking with Brad. It's Cooking with Brad's kid.
Cooking with Brad Jr.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
And then he got a truck with a carrier for his Hot Wheels.
Ooh.
Nice.
So he was having a lot of fun with that, and then he stepped on it and cracked the sides. So that was
Oh, no.
fantastic.
Oh, no. How did he handle that?
He doesn't care.
Oh, that's good.
He's just
mean-
like, well, because it's the plastic lid that folds up and down. You can't see my hand gesticulars, but
I could see it at the top.
yeah. But no, it's a window that opens from the side of the trailer
Mhm.
because they slide into the side. So he stepped on it and it cracked.
Aw.
But it still opens and closes for now. But we just got to make sure it doesn't splinter or anything like that.
Mhm.
I got this. I tried to show it yesterday, but when I move the camera, the audio cuts out. So if it does, please excuse me. But I got the new desk for Christmas. Let's see. So here's me. This is my head, right? Okay. So you used to see this side of the room when you were looking at me, like that was behind me, and now the futon is behind me, like fully. My old desk is right there, the brown thing. There's a filing cabinet in front of it. I had to move all this stuff. You can see the wig and the red sweater right there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
The infamous red sweater.
But I got this new desk, and it's like, here's the long part of it, and then there's it has like a little side piece. It's like an L shape.
Oh, you got a side piece now.
Yeah, I've never had a side piece before, so it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Didn't think I could juggle it, but here we are.
Hopefully, it's not too expensive.
It wasn't because my parents got it for me. But anyways, I wanted a desk for Christmas, and then they had helped me pay for my trip to Australia earlier, so I didn't get like too much, but I did get a lot. It just wasn't before Christmas. So
Nice.
Brad's fans are complaining that
Yeah.
Chad is blocking Brad.
what? Oh man. All right. So these are the comments on the video from yesterday. Brad, were you about to say something?
Well, I was gonna say we've told family and whatnot that he's got enough stuff. We don't need more stuff, so we try and keep the amount of things to a minimum.
Mhm.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
That's always a challenge with
A young boy.
his age. Yep.
Can that be slid over to the other side? What to the other side? Oh,
Yeah,
the L
chat.
shape
Chat. Yeah.
chat? I don't know. Brad could probably tell me that, but later.
Oh boy.
Because I'm not that
I don't
fancy
think
with the
so.
chat. Anyways. All right. So here's like the complaints or the comments, sorry, but they are complaints on his video yesterday. Let me see. This one was good. I couldn't see the entire letter, and this was about the bar complaint, I think, but it appeared the floor is open to your response to the bar's investigation. Is that what the letter said? If so, why not respond first before filing a lawsuit against Bar Guy?
Mm.
He says, seriously, great question, and you're correct. The deadline to respond hasn't passed. So I certainly could still respond to the bar guy. That's not the point. The point is I've spent a massive amount of time responding to the bar guy already. He's asked the same questions multiple times, and each time I keep responding, only to have more questions from the guy. Okay, but
Shocking.
he's allowed to ask questions. But by now he has enough information to know that my speech is protected, but he continues to demand that I send him more responses addressing questions over speech that he knows is fully protected.
He wants evidence.
It is harassing and coercing. Interesting complaint, David. He is trying to
How does it feel?
He is trying to use this process as a way of punishing me for speaking about MATA. That is illegal. It's called First Amendment retaliation. Huh. Who do I know that might do something like that?
Why? Is the bar guy a Fed? Like,
I
are the
know it's-
feds shutting down his newspaper or something? Like, how does this have anything to do with the First Amendment?
Hey guys,
So,
we have Patrick here with us now.
Oh, Patrick will answer my question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not Patrick,
I'll
by
be
the way,
right
but in the video, he wants to make what's known as a 1983 claim against the bar, and a 1983 claim is basically a deprivation of rights that you would make against the government, And that's what you would file in federal court in order to try and say that, well, my First Amendment, Second Amendment, whatever is violated.
Mhm.
The interesting thing is that there are some bar associations that are government entities, and then there are others that are in Arizona. It's actually a nonprofit entity that's overseen by the Supreme Court of Arizona.
Mhm.
So it would be interesting to see how that actually does play out, and if you could actually make a 1983 claim against him.
Mm.
Patrick, what's going on?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It did not like when I tried to connect my AirPod Pros.
Yeah,
No.
StreetYard is very bad about that. I ran into that problem with my walking streams. So
It said beta version, and then it was like, no. So I'm glad you can hear me.
it called you a beta?
Oh boy.
Said, take your beta shit with your nerdy fucking technology and fuck yourself. I wanted to go for a walk and talk about the law, but no.
It
Now
didn't
I'm
call you a simp?
stuck on the porch.
Oh, man.
So Patrick, did I summarize the 1983 claim in the bar adequately enough without going too deep into it?
Oh, are you talking about the X-ray Moore or ex parte Moore case?
Not specifically, but
Yeah, what were you talking about?
he was saying that he wants to make a 1983 claim against the bar specifically for his First Amendment speech. But if the bar is not fully a government entity and just overseen by the Supreme Court, would that even be allowed?
Oh, yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, because, I mean, if they're subject to the Freedom of Information Act, then they're, by definition, a government agency.
Okay.
But that's, I think that would definitely allow them to be sued. It's weird that he has to sue the person in his individual capacity. But, yeah, I think he can do it. I would love to see him try.
Interesting.
Well, the lawsuit's already written, apparently, so I don't know. I don't know how he has time to do all that when he's suing YouTubers and
Bro.
YouTubers and has other clients, apparently, but, whatever.
I mean,
I know. I mean,
know.
you and I linked up for the copyright stuff, and, like,
Right.
you saw we had to schedule a whole ass meeting for, like, 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I
this
mean,
man
I
has...
guess-
Yeah, I thought he was working at Home Depot. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Home Depot is like the thing I have against Home Depot is I went to Home Depot.
It's overpriced as fuck.
That wasn't it actually. I went to Home Depot with my parents when I was younger, and I had a Beanie Baby with me. His name was Cheddar the rat, or the mouse, or whatever. And I was climbing up the shelves at Home Depot because I thought that was fun when I was a child for some reason. And I put Cheddar down on one of the shelves, and he got dirt on him. And so now I hate Home Depot because they dirtied my Chester.
Oh my God! What
world am I
weird
living
time to
in?
come into this conversation?
What kind of animal was that again? And why
was
did you have it in public?
Tiger.
It was a Beanie Baby, and there used to be a There used to be a Beanie Baby store here, and it was next to the Home Depot. So we went there. We got the Cheddars, the rats or the mouse or whatever. And me and my sister were crawling up on the shelves and like putting Chester down, but there was like dirt and whatever on the shelves you would expect to have at the Home Depot. And me as a child didn't understand that. So when the dirt got on my Cheddar, I was like, I'm never coming back here. So.
Hey, Beanie Babies were a real thing. I used to collect them.
Oh yeah, me
Oh,
too.
boy.
Yeah, I have them in my attic from my childhood.
I have like Princess Di ones like laying around the house.
Yes, the purple one.
Yeah, I got Jerry
Heck yeah.
Garcia. I am
Did you
all.
get Valentino?
I do have Valentino. Yes, actually, you know what? I did. I donated all of them.
Oh no!
I know. Well, I found out that the Princess Di one is only worth money if it has like a messed up hologram, and I checked both mine, and I don't
They're
have
like-
one.
These are
What
good.
world
with
am I
so
living
much
in right
money and,
now?
like,
What is
they're not-
happening?
Why won't this turn around?
also,
Now my Paco
Lulu's.
jeans from 8th grade would look so cool.
Yes.
Oh man. You can probably sell those on eBay for a lot now, right?
Oh yeah.
The jeans or the Beanie Babies?
Both. If they were clean.
So was yours one of the OG Beanie Babies? Because I remember they made
Yeah.
like a straight up rat. You know?
Yeah, it was a rat.
Oh yeah, that one's cool. Of course, I would
Yeah,
put that
right?
down too, and
It
I'd
was
be pissed.
the cool one, and I got dirt on it. And I was like, I hate Home Depot. I
This
hate
is so.
it here.
Did it have like a pink belly?
I don't remember.
I don't
dude.
remember,
I
but
just
fuck
remember
Home Depot.
it was a light color. It was like white or gray or something. I don't know, but I remember getting dirt on it and like crying a lot. And my parents put them in the washer, but they were never really exactly the same. And I was just kind of like, this is the worst thing that ever will happen to me in my entire life. I'm certain.
It has a regular belly.
Oh man, still
Here.
dirty though. And then you washed it. That's like when it's for sure goner.
Right.
Brad, what is this that you were sharing with me?
So this is the public records policy as defined by the Supreme Court of Arizona that govern the bar's ability to process records
Okay.
for Freedom of Information Act. So it's their own policy. It's not FOIA specifically.
I could see them like agreeing like to be subject to FOIA, even if they're not technically a government agency.
Mhm.
Okay.
My company just recently, actually, we're a private company and we just received a FOIA request. So explain that one to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright.
But I think his lawsuit just sounds hilarious, and the complaint against him. The only reason I have like particular insight into that is I actually was investigated by the bar myself, so I know like I've gone through the whole thing,
Was it about the Beanie Babies,
and it's
or
gonna suck for him. Like,
I
Oh,
mean,
man. Tear Dad says the lawyer speaks as a lawyer about a legal case and he is abusive and cruel and disrespectful, and that situation is not merely free speech. Patrick, what do you think of that comment?
I mean, it's not really. I understand where he's coming from with like when he's tweeting and stuff. Like technically, he
Mhm.
hasn't filed, and like if the "look at me, daddy" was used as one of the allegations, that'd be a different
Mhm.
story. But this is his private conduct.
Right.
I still think that he's like flirts with it though, like super close to the line. Like, yes, that email was private conduct, but you submit it to a fucking court, dude. Like, it's still part
Mhm.
of the legal process overall.
public record, right?
Mhm.
So I think that they can regulate that conduct.
I think I'm going to start dubbing this a Nick Rekieta test because Nick Rekieta was a popular or is a popular lawyer in Minnesota. He calls himself non-practicing because he doesn't take active cases and do active work, but he uses his credentialing as a lawyer as a means to be able to speak on subjects that involve law with a degree of authority, but he doesn't have any hand in any of the works that he's usually talking about, except for when he's speaking about his own defamation case against Montegraph. But in this case, you have David Gingras, who's acting as an attorney for a client and said, or he has proclaimed that he is functioning as a PR role for his client while also being her attorney. So he's still an attorney for her, speaking on her case, and therefore his obligations under the bar are still necessity.
Yeah, I don't know why he's allowed to just say whatever he wants when
So
he's
he's
acting as
licensed
like
in
a private
Arizona,
person, but
right?
it does make a difference, unfortunately.
He's licensed in Arizona, right?
Yeah, Arizona, California, and he's credentialed federally.
So
But for Rekieta, you know,
who
on a
oversees
broader
that
point,
Arizona
like
license?
even though he comments on law, he doesn't practice law. So he doesn't really know
Right.
like I mean, I'm sure he has practiced law in the past, but he doesn't know the day-to-day ins and outs of what litigating is, or it's not even just litigating, like copyright law. Like David knows not only does he litigate, but he also does copyright law. So when it comes to that stuff, I'm fairly certain in his capabilities. But then when he starts going down these family law was obviously the wrong choice. I mean, PR also the wrong choice.
Yeah.
And now constitutional claims, like, yes, okay, you talk a lot about the First Amendment, but are you like there's so much that goes into suing the state on constitutional grounds, so it's just way outside his expertise. And I think that that's sort of what I was thinking about when you were saying like the difference between Ricada and Gingras.
Bruce, you asked about credentialing. The bar oversees his credentialing for being a lawyer.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's the bar that's given him his license
Right.
and has to manage his license. Effectively,
I
sort of
mean,
like an
he can
employer.
make the argument. I don't know when I didn't actually watch the YouTube video, but when he was mentioning that it's got to be this person in his personal capacity, I was just like, why does he want to be in federal court so bad? I don't understand where this man, what his obsession is. I don't know why he wants to be in court at all. Is the real point?
I think he likes attention
Like,
and power, control.
Lauren, all our conversations were like the options besides court.
Mhm.
Yeah, every lawyer I've ever met is
And
always
this man's just like,
how can I
immediately,
not
let me
go
sue
to
this
court?
Redditor. Like, I
Right.
thought that was so ridiculous. And then using I mean, I understand getting a federally, a subpoena approved by the court, but like, also just send that person an email.
Right, but he wouldn't do that because it wouldn't give him the drama that he's wanting. Speaking of that though, he tweeted, today, it's troubling that Redditor Hito Izakura spends hours writing long posts deliberately trying to explain why I'm wrong about the law like this, but then she completely ignores cases like this which prove I'm 100% right. Well, Hito Izakura actually just posted a post about the cases that DG stated demonstrate that he is
boy.
100% right about the law stated on X/Twitter.
This is why conversation is good, right? I mean,
And David, she's not a fucking lawyer, bro. Like, stop punching down. Like,
Right, dude.
who cares if she is talking about the cases? She's literally said it herself. She sits at the dining room table, she listens to the shit, and she summarizes it and gives her interpretation. Like, that's the most.
And
Sorry,
that's
I'm getting wound
legal.
up.
It's not illegal. You
So
little bitch.
it's so innocent and legal.
So he's saying like she completely ignores this case and ignores this that proves I'm right, and I mean, what is her where's her basic sense of honesty? But you're basically saying all people who aren't lawyers like you are idiots. So are they dishonest or are they idiots? Can you pick a side? Like what is it? Because if they're idiots, it's innocent, right? Like, so why are you calling her an idiot? I don't know. She's obviously not, because yesterday he said, obviously he made it sound like she's a very intelligent person, but now he wants to say that she's not. So I don't know what the issue like with him really is, other than he just wants attention at this point. But
it's
anyways,
so weird. I mean, I don't know
And
why
I
he's trying
commend
to
you for not
litigate
giving it
this
to
on
him.
the internet.
Sorry, go ahead.
Also, at the end again, he starts saying, "Oh, I know you have hate in your heart." Like, how do you know
Yeah,
that?
those are the
Like,
two. I mean, I really only dig
speculation.
back into the case when he does some stupid legal shit, or when like
Yeah.
Laura gets her, day in court. Like the I love Haiti thing. I saw that, but I kind of been like you, Lauren. Like,
yeah.
this is boring at some point. Like with
Yeah,
all
I
of his
saw that
bullshit.
too. Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, "This is dumb. I don't want to waste my time on this. I'm just not going to waste my time on it."
Yeah, I don't even see myself. I mean, I haven't read a Medium article in so long. Like, it's just the facts are going to be what the facts are. The case isn't going to change. The appeals court is going to hear it or they're not going to hear it. What is really interesting is David fucking up his life along the way. That I'm here for legally.
I think he thought he could make a big name for himself by representing Laura. I think he wants to try to get something named after him. I think
Mhm.
that's why he.
I'll
got
name my next wart after him. How about that?
Leave my.
Ouch.
I hereby declare my left nut David Gingras.
Oh no.
No.
Why's it gotta
the
be the
nut.
left one, bro?
It's always the left one. I don't know why. I don't make the
I'm
rules.
gonna name my last shit
Oh boy.
David Gingras.
Left.
No, that's
the
an
segment
important
people are
thing.
kicking on.
Winnie, come on. Taking
Well,
the
I'm
dogs.
gonna flush it and say
See,
goodbye. Just
The
That's
crazy
right.
thing
Mouth.
again is like,
Have you
even if
guys
this-
seen this documentary? It's like the whites of West Virginia.
No.
Oh my god, do yourself a favor. There's so many quotable parts of that movie or that documentary. If you want to laugh, this little kid, he's just like the baddest little kid around. Like he's been raised by his mom and he hates his dad, and he jumps in the middle of the documentary camera and he goes, "Dennis is this," and then he like holds both his middle fingers up at the camera.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. What is this on Netflix?
Winnie, come on.
Oh boy.
Somebody's dog's in the...
I don't think Naddis can hear us.
I think he can. He's just distracted by something. Okay, so hang on. This post by Hito Izakura is a disclaimer. This post discusses 3 cases that the lawyer has cited on X/Twitter that were not mentioned in his latest YouTube video released on December 28th, but may have been in his comments, which I am not obligated to read. Please go to YouTube and watch his video if you want to see the video in entirety, and go to his X/Twitter if you really want to see what he wrote. I don't know why anyone would. But hey, we've all read it at this point, I guess.
I mean, here's the thing. Even if this Redditor is all wrong, that doesn't mean they're lying. They could just be mistaken.
Right. Yeah.
How do you differentiate being mistaken
Just a
or
mis-
speaking inaccurately from a lie? DSG goes straight to, oh, they lied. You have to actually prove a lie versus some other explanation.
Like Woodnick and Clayton proved she lied.
Yeah.
He lied. I can't do it.
So it's weird how he has these knee-jerk reactions to things, which have not, been demonstrated yet.
Sounds like he needs some therapy because he's very easily triggered.
Maybe. I don't know.
That would probably do some good. Just based on a lot of stuff.
She lied.
There it is.
Purple Dragon, thank you for the 20. Happy holidays, happy New Year's if I don't see you by then. Well, I hope I see you by then, but thank you very much. I appreciate you. You guys are awesome. Okay, so Hito Izakura goes on to say, hang on. First note, this post can be considered fair use. I'm not going to read the whole thing. If you want to read the whole thing, please go to Hito Izakura's post on Reddit, so I'm not getting sued for copyright.
We're all going to get sued.
She would never, but
What is happening?
Second note, I'm not a lawyer. I've never professed to be a lawyer. Third note, I would like to think I'm a reasonable, moderately intelligent, truthful, and respectful human being. That's, from what I can tell, definitely true. Context, apparently David was quite hurt by the fact that I didn't discuss 3 cases that he felt supported his cause, despite the fact that I rewatched his video. You're welcome for the additional view, David. And he did not mention those cases. And as a person who's not a lawyer, these cases are not common knowledge to me. He may have mentioned them in his comments, but as it's not my video, I'm not obligated to go through the comments and provide responses. Nor is David, actually, but he seems to enjoy connecting/debating with people in his comments and on social media, so that's his choice. So here's my deep dive into the 3 cases he referenced using the very sources he provided. And David, I don't think you're going to appreciate my assessment, but please keep in mind that it's my opinion. Please note that while I'm not a lawyer, I have some understanding of legal arguments, and it is not enough to just state that a case supports your cause. You have to actually show the parallels between the reference case and your case to optimally argue why the ruling made in the reference case is applicable to you.
Yeah, that's a good point. He often, there's this thing, show, don't tell, right? And DSG often just tells you things, but that's not enough. You have to show the supporting evidence, or you have to explain it logically. You can't just say, I'm 100% right. It's like you have to prove it.
Yep. That's just a silly requirement.
Otherwise, I mean, you can speculate all you want.
Hey,
You can
Brad.
say, I think I'm 100% right.
I just took a peek at the public records policy.
Yeah.
And I don't think that proves whether or not they are or not officially a government agency.
Right.
It just looks like it's their approach to how, like, if they were an agency or just as an entity, their approach to handling public records.
Yeah, and they said that there's they do public meetings, and that those should be available and able to be requested as well. But any of the matters involving investigations into attorneys is going to be obviously protected. So
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Could we request, the copy of that bar complaint? And given where it's at right now, I was like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna run because I gotta take care of these animals, Lauren, and I think your journals are hilarious. I really want some for work.
I will send you some. Don't pay the shipping fee. I'll send you some. Don't worry.
Okay,
Nice.
I
I'll
will
text you.
Venmo you or something.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. All right.
Happy
I'll
holidays to
go.
everyone.
Yeah, we'll talk to you
see
later.
Thanks, man.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Bye, all.
Bye. All right, let's take a look at this. In the matter of Green, so here's one of the cases. Background. Oh my god, did she like really thoroughly okay. I would have just been like, this is bullshit. Okay, anyways.
She might hit the
Background.
character limit.
Dude, for real.
Right?
Background. In 1991, Jamalian Green was hired by a tile contractor who wanted to sue a homeowner and her husband for failure to pay for the tile installation in their house. The homeowners counterclaimed, insisting that the contractor breached warranties. In the contract between the tiler and the homeowners, it was stated that whoever won the trial was entitled to attorney's fees and costs. As such, Green agreed that if his client, the tiler, won, then he would accept the amount that the court awarded. Otherwise, the tiler would owe Green nothing. Okay. Initial court ruling after a bench trial, the homeowner's counterclaim was dismissed, and it was determined that the contractor did not breach their contract. The judge awarded the tiler damages and attorney's fees and requested that Green file an affidavit for fees and costs within 15 days. Example, like the fee breakdown Greg Woodnick provided after Judge Mata made her ruling.
Ooh.
Affidavit for fees and costs. Green calculated his fees using his hourly rate and the number of hours he worked, 29,554. And while the judge found the rate to be reasonable, they felt that many of the itemized services Green listed included services that are usually not billed to client. So the judge ruled that the amount was excessive and stated that $12,000 was a more reasonable figure. Motion to recuse. Several months after the award, Green filed a motion to recuse the trial judge for bias/prejudice against him and his client, stating that the trial judge interrupted him and told him to conclude his argument despite his objection, and that the judge was grimacing during his arguments, which indicated, okay, all I can think of is the purple McDonald's guy, the grimace.
All I can think of is Gingras.
That's fair. Which indicated indifference/impatience with Green's arguments. Green also objected to many of the rulings made by the judge. The judge denied the motion to recuse. Appeals. The homeowners appealed the judgment, and both the contractor and Green cross-appealed the amount of the fee award. The appeals court upheld all but one ruling. They felt that the trial court made an error in determining reasonable fees and asked the trial court to reconsider the fees.
In which direction? Up?
Exactly.
Reconsideration of fees. While the trial judge was reconsidering the reasonableness of fees, Green wrote 3 letters to the judge, which contained items such as: Letter 1, citing the errors the appeals court found, stating that he was personally aggrieved by the comments, stating that he was offended that the trial judge in an order stated that he was competent when he single-handedly prevailed throughout this litigation against 4 attorneys, and no less significantly, I prevailed against you, the trial
This
judge.
green person sounds familiar.
Exactly.
Stating the word competent reminded him of allegedly racist remarks he had previously heard in court.
Okay.
What?
Competent is like a pretty common legal term, honestly, in a court setting. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I think he's trying to say it's coded language for saying that.
Oh,
if
no,
you're-
I get what he's saying. I'm just saying, like, that's stupid as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening?
Requesting a camera pre-hearing conference. Letter
This is a
2.
big letter.
Yeah. Letter 2, stating the judge was unfairly biased and had a bent of mind. Stating that the judge was racist and bigoted because allegedly the judge looked at him and asked the clerk on behalf of which attorney Green was reviewing the file, instead of realizing that Green was an attorney. What?
So
Help me with that
apparently
one.
green isn't green.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Insisting the judge, letter 3, insisting the judge recuse himself because of his racism, insisting that the judge was purposely delaying the fee determination. During the course of the reconsideration and in between letters, Green continued to send motions to recuse and also requested higher fees in the amount of $72,436.
Ooh.
God.
Moving it up.
Fee reconsideration order. In 1996, Green was correct in the matter took quite a bit of time. The trial court did reconsider fees, but only $16,500, and the judge refused to recuse himself.
Okay.
Disciplinary counsel complaint. The complaint against Green was for charging an excessive fee, engaging in prejudicial conduct, violating accepted standards of legal ethics, and engaging in adverse conduct. Due to his criticism of the judge in his letters and motions to recuse and his excessive fees, the hearing board concluded that Green had violated the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Supreme Court findings. The court stated that if an attorney criticizes a judge's ruling in a statement of opinion, he may not be sanctioned, but if the statement of opinion implies a false statement of fact, then the free speech under the First Amendment is not permitted. Example, there's a difference between saying that a judge's ruling was incoherent and claiming that the judge must have been drunk while making the ruling.
Or that the judge must have been doing independent investigation.
As claiming drunkenness is an objective fact that can be proven as false. All right.
Yeah.
And I think that he may be trying to use this bar complaint as a means to subpoena Mata to be able to prove whether or not his fact that he's alleging is true, which would ultimately help him in his appeal if he had
This is
that
exactly
evidence.
true. Yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Oh man. Hang on one sec. Fletcher Boy, thank you for the 20. David Gingras is fighting for Scottsdale women that get impregnated from fellatio everywhere. It deserves a rousing one-hand clap. That's a one-hand clap.
I feel like everything this guy does is scaffolding I wouldn't want to climb.
Fletcher Boy, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here.
Very nice.
Let's see. I'll finish reading this one and then I'll direct everyone to the Reddit posts for the rest of them because I'm tired as hell.
There's 2 other cases, right?
Yeah, I can't go through all of it today.
Oh, boy.
It's 12:07 already, but we'll finish this one. All right. Supreme Court findings. The court stated that if an attorney criticizes a judge's ruling in a statement of opinion, he may not be sanctioned. But if the statement of opinion implies a false statement of fact, then the free speech under the First Amendment is not permitted. We already read that.
Yeah.
The court further found that protection of attorney criticism of judges can be similar to protection of criticism of other public officials under the First Amendment. The court also noted that Green's statements did not involve any form of threat to a judge. The implications of racism and bias could be attributed to Green's opinions. However, they also noted that, as per the trial judge's own testimony, Mr. Green did not actually provide facts and only stated subjective impressions.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
The Supreme Court themselves said that this case was somewhat less compelling government interest in disciplining Green because Green privately criticized a judge, and therefore the statements were made to the limited audience of the judge and the opposing counsel.
Not in this case.
Compared to other cases where disparaging comments about judges were made to a public audience.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
There are numerous cases cited in this section, and the ruling stated, the public nature of the statements in these cases was significant because the issue is not simply whether the criticized individual has been harmed, but whether the criticism impugning the integrity of the judge or legal officer adversely affects the administration of justice. The Supreme Court did not condone the tone of the letters or the conclusions drawn by Green. They were simply pointing out that he was protected under the First Amendment and therefore could not be disciplined for his statements. To an extent, they agreed that Green charged an unreasonable fee. The court seemed to feel that his initial request of fees was reasonable, but that upon appeal and after, the fee requests were unreasonable. The court determined that rather than disciplining Green based on the panel's recommendation of suspension, a public censure, a formal public reprimand / public condemnation, was sufficient. Conclusion. Green's criticism of the judge was protected by the First Amendment because his criticism only contained opinions / perceptions, not false statements of fact, contained no threats, and was made privately. As such, the court felt that the public censure was more appropriate than discipline. Okay. This is Hideo Izakura does her personal assessment / opinion here. As someone who is not a lawyer. Sorry, what was that?
I just said who is not a lawyer.
Oh, yeah. Okay. As I said earlier, when citing case law, there is importance in demonstrating why your situation parallels your cited case. And that strengthens your argument. This is why I tried to give you all this background context, so that people can understand where I come from when I make a statement of opinion. And in my opinion, there's plenty in this case that will point to the lawyer's actions being in violation of the rules and potentially not protected by the First Amendment. When the case got to the Supreme Court made a distinction between statements of opinion and false statements of fact. The lawyer saying he disagrees with Mata's ruling, that it's erroneous, that she must have gotten the Planned Parenthood fact from social media or independent investigation, these can all be considered statements of opinion. Even the Planned Parenthood fact, seeing as this is his opinion of where she got the information from. However, When he started saying things such as Judge Mata making her ruling because she was swayed by a celebrity, or was attempting to show off to her father that Judge Fisk made her ruling because she was helping out her buddy Judge Mata, that Woodnick/Mata violated rules, this becomes false statement with objective facts that can be proven wrong.
Oh my.
The Supreme Court also made a clear distinction between a private conflict between a judge and attorney versus a public conflict. Green kept his criticism private in letters to the judge, while the lawyer broadcast his criticism to the world on various forms of social media, his blog, YouTube, and Twitter in particular. Once again, the lawyer has every right to publicly say he didn't like Mata's ruling and that he disagreed with her assessment of the case. However, it veers into dangerous territory for him when he made those false statements from above in public. And when he made that flyer, he was essentially impugning the integrity of Mata, which was exactly why the bar seized upon that. The flyer was a bad call.
And what about that website with the judge, the Yelp or whatever, the onlyrobes.com or whatever?
Only robes, robing room?
Yes, robing room.
And saying that he was going to take out a website in her name to post shit about her, and that he was going to rent a van like with her what painted on the side of it.
When election season comes up, he was going to rent one of those media vans that have the LED boards so that he could try and advertise whoever is running against her in the case and park it in front of the courthouse or whatever.
I thought he said park it in front of her house.
No, I think he said the courthouse.
The courthouse, I thought, yeah. I don't know. Oh, her courthouse. I mean,
it's not a euphemism, David.
What?
Nothing. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Where did I get to? What was the last thing? Because I know I read this part. Additionally, they seized upon the fact
The Supreme Court also made
that.
Oh,
okay, we read that part. At which point he can be okay. Hang on.
made the flyer. Yeah. Additionally, they seized.
Yeah.
Right?
Additionally, they seized upon the fact that he did make false statements of fact. Once again, there's a difference between a mere opinion and the lawyer's comments, like the ones I listed above. And while he states that the Reddit letter was private, he made it public by putting it into a publicly available subpoena, at which point he can be held responsible for the contents, tone, and disrespectfulness/unprofessionalism of that letter.
TFPAs.
Yep. Personal conclusion. Yes, this case does demonstrate that an attorney can criticize a judge with minimal to no consequence. However, the nature of the criticism, the content of the criticism, and the public versus private nature of the criticism makes a difference. And this case has highlighted that public criticism that can be seen as impugning a judicial officer's integrity, or public comments that can be seen as spreading false statements of fact, can have serious consequences that may not be protected by the First Amendment.
Yes.
Was this an Arizona case or was this somewhere else?
This was a California case, I believe, but it was reviewed by the 9th District of Court of Appeals, which would be binding precedent over Arizona.
Okay.
All right, so there's two more, but these aren't as long as I thought they would be. So if I can get some help reading them so I can go to the bathroom, then we can finish the post. A standing committee versus Yagman. Bruce's turn. Okay.
Oh no, that was a different one.
I'm pretty fried, Lauren. I feel like I really need to go, or
I actually do too.
I'm dead.
Yeah, I can't do it by myself for sure.
Sorry.
I mean, I'll read it if everyone wants to stay on the stream, or we can do.
Do people want to stay on the stream? Tell me in the comments. Faster. There's like a 10-second delay. So
there's a big delay.
Who wants us to read it and who wants us to not? Tell us. I would take another poll, but I'm too late.
I've had a sinus headache all day, so I'm pretty much done with life for today.
Oh no.
Okay.
Stay.
Green was Colorado. It doesn't say where it was argued, if it only went up to the Colorado Supreme Court or not.
Okay. I'm happy to read it.
Stay. Yes. Yes, I'm waiting in the ER. You're waiting in the ER. Okay. So if you want to read what you can see on the screen right now, I'll be right back. And then there's not too much for the two of us to finish. So, all right.
Hey, Nan, I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Background: in 1991, Yagman filed a lawsuit pro se against several insurance companies. The case was assigned to Judge Reel, but Yagman, is it Yagman? Promptly sought to disqualify Judge Reel on grounds of bias. The disqualification motion was assigned randomly to Judge Keller, who denied it, and then sanctioned Yagman for such an improper/frivolous request. Yagman accused Judge Keller of being biased against Jewish lawyers, citing himself, Kenner, and Maines, all three of which were attorneys who identified as Jewish, and publicly stated to a reporter that Judge Keller was drunk on the bench, although that comment was not published in the reporter's article. Yagman then placed an advertisement on stationery from his law firm. I took a college class where the guy said it's not called an advertisement, it's called an advertisement, on stationery from his law firm in the LA Daily Journal, asking lawyers who had been sanctioned by Judge Keller to contact his office. Yagman also told another attorney that he hoped his public criticism would make Judge Keller recuse himself in future cases. Judge Keller accused Yagman of misconduct, and both the attorney Yagman spoke to and Judge Keller brought their complaints to the Standing Committee on Discipline. District Court ruling. After a 2-day hearing with the Standing Committee and Yagman, the District Court determined that Yagman committed sanctionable misconduct and suspended him from practice for 2 years. Rebuttal. Yagman insisted that the Standing Committee denied him due process and that members of the Standing Committee had conflicts of interest that could have influenced the decision to pursue disciplinary action. He also insisted that his criticism was protected by the First Amendment. Appeals Court rulings. The appeals court did not find support for Yagman's claim of being denied due process, nor did they find any support for bias, as long as the judges hearing the misconduct charges are not biased. And Yagman did not claim the judge was biased. He claimed the Standing Committee may have been. The court looked into whether Yagman engaged in conduct that, quote, impugns the integrity of the court, end quote, and asserted that, quote, statements impugning the integrity of a judge may not be punished unless they are capable of being proven true or false. Statements of opinion are protected by the First Amendment unless they imply a false assertion of fact, end quote. In the Daily Journal public article, Yagman did make a statement that Judge Keller has a penchant for sanctioning Jewish lawyers, me, David Kenner, and Hugh Maines. I find this to be evidence of anti-Semitism. The court pointed out that all three lawyers were Jewish, all three lawyers were sanctioned, and Yagman was expressing an opinion that this was evidence of anti-Semitism. So there were facts, the three lawyers being Jewish and sanctioned, that were true, and an opinion which is permissible under the First Amendment. Additionally, the court pointed out that the Standing Committee nor the District Court made no claims or findings that Yagman's factual assertions were false, so they could assume that the facts were true. As such, the court determined that because these facts were true, and Yagman used these facts to make his opinion about Judge Keller being anti-Semitic, his comment in the Daily Journal is protected by the First Amendment. Quote, the statement did not imply the existence of additional undisclosed facts. It was carefully phrased in terms of an inference drawn from the facts specified rather than a bald accusation of bias against Jews, end quote. The court pointed out that readers could form their own opinion, either supportive or contradictory, based on the same facts at their will. Do you want me to keep going?
Just finish until it says conclusion.
Okay.
Like right here. Go up to here.
The court also pointed out that while Yagman did express his displeasure about Judge Keller, he did not imply that Judge Keller was dishonest or incompetent. They did look at the drunk on the bench allegation, but stated that because the Standing Committee did not prove that the statement was false, Yagman was permitted to make that statement. The court did not condone Yagman's criticism and even found it harsh and temperate, but pointed out that harsh criticism cannot be used to force a judge to recuse himself, although a judge may choose to do so if faced with harsh criticism. Ultimately, the appeals court concluded that the district court erred in sanctioning Yagman.
Okay. So the conclusion by Hideo Izakura here is Yagman's criticism of Judge Keller in the Daily Journal, while not condoned, was protected by the First Amendment because his criticism contained facts. 3 lawyers were sanctioned, all 3 were Jewish, and used those facts to make an opinion that he finds Judge Keller to be anti-Semitic. Those facts and his comment about Judge Keller being drunk on bench were never refuted and therefore acceptable. So I missed obviously a lot of this while I was downstairs. Did he call him a cockroach? Why was the guy anti-Semitic? I'm confused.
For sanctioning Jewish lawyers.
Oh, okay. Well, that's totes. Okay. K McViz Runner, thank you for the $50. Stay breadstick money. Oh, thank you very much. We'll definitely stay. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there were 3 lawyers that were sanctioned, and they were all
Okay.
Jewish.
Jewish.
Okay. All right. My assessment / opinion as someone who is not a lawyer, I find this case to be a mixed bag. I see some items that can support the lawyer, but other items do not. The lawyer is well within his rights to point out that Judge Mata got the Planned Parenthood fact from something other than Dr. Dean's ruling. And I even think he is allowed to speculate where she got that from. In fact, I think the lawyer is correct that the burden of proof as to where Judge Mata got this fact is actually on Judge Mata. However, unlike the lawyer, I do not find this error to be a structural error. I find this to be a harmless error that ultimately did not affect the substance of the ruling, and this might be why Judge Mata isn't rising to the lawyer's challenge. This was one small error that was inconsequential in the face of the entirety of the case.
And that's what Fisk ruled as well, right? That it didn't change the outcome of the case.
I think so.
Also, I think, if you're going to speculate, you need to be clear that you're speculating. And I think DSG has writing that really blurs the lines between, statements of fact and speculation. And it's very hard to discern.
Yeah.
And he needs to do a better job of saying when he's speculating versus when he's making a claim.
But
Even for
everything
his
he
own
says is
protection.
fact. Yeah.
What?
Everything he says is fact. What do you mean?
I don't know.
All right.
Then it's not speculation. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then prove it. But
No, I was being sarcastic, but yeah. I think the lawyer thinks that this case is a smoking gun for letting him criticize the judge freely, but the issue here is that he has not used verifiable and proven facts to back many of his stances. Once again, saying things such as Judge Mata making her ruling because she was swayed by a celebrity or was attempting to show off to her father that Judge Fisk made her ruling because she was helping out her buddy Judge Mata. Did I read this already? That Woodnick
this was
/ Mata.
stated up earlier.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's all
That
good.
Woodnick / Mata violated rules. These are accusations that he has made in public without any concrete facts.
Yeah,
Yagman-
exactly. And if this was speculation, then he should have predicated his statements with speculative language. But he didn't. And this is the point I just made.
Oh, yeah. Yagman did have concrete facts, and if you note, he phrased his comment by stating his facts and then concluding, I find this to be anti-Semitism. Phrasing can make all the difference, and
Yeah.
by the lawyer just baldly declaring that Woodnick lied,
Mhm.
Judge Mata was swayed by a celebrity and her father's presence, that Judge Fisk was supporting her buddy Mata is not necessarily protected, especially if it can be proven to be false.
There we go.
I also want to point out that the flyer that the lawyer made, the lawyer based that flyer on his own experience and a random comment online. Firstly, I don't think you can consider the random comment, which cannot be traced back to an actual case, as factual because it's not verifiable. So that leaves just the lawyer's own experience. And a sample size of n equals 1 never makes for a good support for any hypothesis or speculation. So once again, his flyer cannot be supported by multiple factual instances. Personal conclusion. Yes, this case does demonstrate that an attorney can criticize a judge even in a public forum, but there needs to be a factual basis to support any opinions that are presented in public. And if the statements made can be proven false, then once again, unfounded public criticism can be seen as impugning a judicial officer's integrity. And public comments that can be seen as spreading false statements of fact can have serious consequences that may not be protected by the First Amendment.
Fair.
All right. And we have one more case to get through. And I know if you need to go to bed, go to bed. I'm not gonna be mad about it. You know what I mean?
I want to hear the third one now.
I know. All right. Bates v. the State Bar of Arizona. Background. In 1974, attorneys Bates and Osteen, licensed to practice law in the state of Arizona, left the Maricopa County Legal Aid Society and opened a law office/legal clinic in Phoenix, and ended up putting an advertisement in the Arizona Republic stating that they were offering legal services at very reasonable fees, and listed their fees for certain services. The attorneys agreed that they did violate Disciplinary Rule 2-101B, which states, "A lawyer shall not publicize himself or his partner or associate or any other lawyer affiliated with him or his firm as a lawyer through newspaper or magazine advertisements, radio or television announcements, display advertisements in the city or telephone directories or other means of commercial publicity, nor shall he authorize or permit others to do so on his behalf."
That's crazy. That's literally Better Call Saul. Like, he wouldn't have had a career.
Well, Saul Goldman.
Wow.
Saul
What are they
Goodman is
supposed to
definitely the
do?
standard, so
Just hope someone walks in the front door.
Right.
I guess so.
Apparently.
Jeez.
You got to get a sign spinner. The president of the state bar initiated a complaint, and while the local administrative committee ruled that each attorney be suspended for 6 months, the board of governors of the state bar reduced this to a 1-week suspension for each attorney. The attorneys sought review in the Supreme Court of Arizona, arguing that the disciplinary rule infringed on their First Amendment rights and violates the Sherman Act, a federal law that prohibits anti-competitive business practices, economic fairness, essentially trying to prohibit monopolies and promote healthy competition. Okay. The Arizona Supreme Court rejected both claims and claimed that the disciplinary rules superseded the Sherman Act because the state of Arizona was acting as a sovereign. The case then went to the Supreme Court. U.S. Supreme Court rulings. Okay. The Supreme Court affirmed the Arizona Supreme Court's determination about the Sherman Act. The court does determine that in a previous case, Virginia Pharmacy Board v. Virginia Consumer Council, they upheld that competitive commercial speech is entitled to the protection of the First Amendment. The court felt that the main issue was whether lawyers may constitutionally advertise the prices at which certain routine services will be performed. Okay. While the bar argued that the attorneys were being unprofessional and that their advertising will undermine an attorney's dignity and self-worth, the Supreme Court felt that this connection was pretty strained, and the diminishing of an attorney's reputation through advertising was open to question.
That's really weird because if I'm saying that I'm going to do work at X rate, how does that diminish a different attorney unless I'm saying this guy's charging $100 and you're going to get a cut rate experience?
Mm-hmm.
That would be diminishing the other attorney, but me publishing my own fees isn't demeaning anyone.
Like a gas station, right? Like, they have their like, for the same product, their own price.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird.
All right. Let's see. The bar also felt that advertising would be misleading because legal services are very individualized, and the public would be unable to determine what kind of legal services they would need in advance. The Supreme Court didn't agree with any of these claims. There are many more claims, but quite honestly, it does seem that none of the claims put forward by the Arizona State Bar held water with the Supreme Court. Essentially, the Supreme Court felt that the advertisement of legal services by the attorneys was protected under the First Amendment, and the disciplinary action violated the First Amendment. So they reversed the Supreme Court of Arizona's disciplinary action. Conclusion, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld that the Supreme Court of Arizona could claim that disciplinary rules supersede the Sherman Act, but argued that the attorney's advertisements were protected under the First Amendment and therefore reversed the disciplinary action.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What does this have to do with our case?
I don't know. I guess we're about to find out. My assessment/opinion as someone who is not a lawyer. Okay, honestly, I don't have much to say here because I don't see enough parallels in this case and the lawyer situation, save for the fact that in both scenarios, it's an attorney against the Arizona State Bar, and it's about freedom of speech under the First Amendment. However, the context is completely different. These were attorneys advertising their own services for more affordable rates. That's not very comparable to the lawyer publicly impugning members of the judiciary. Mm-hmm. The first two cases are more in line with what the lawyer is going through, so my assessment/opinion in those cases are more pertinent, in my opinion. I feel like this case was just thrown out there to show that you can win against the state bar.
Oh
but the
boy.
context is completely different and, in my opinion, not applicable to the lawyer's case. Personal conclusion: yes, this case is proof that lawyers can sue the bar and win. However, this case, in my opinion, has no other parallels to his situation and is very poor support for his case. The other two cases seem to have more substance that is applicable to his situation.
Yeah.
I think he's going to make a First Amendment claim, and here is where a First Amendment claim was made and successfully won. So therefore, he thinks that he should win on that. But I think a lot of people, even non-lawyers, would look at that and say advertisements for lawyer services would be a justifiable, a legal or a First Amendment action, especially when you think about what happened in what was that case in 2011, where businesses can, well, no, that would be for political donations, but basically businesses have a First Amendment right to make political advertisements because they have the ability for a First Amendment right. I can't remember what the case was, but basically saying that a lawyer in his profession, making summarizing what the Redditor posted, impugning the judicial in his stated capacity as a lawyer and PR representative for a client is wholly different than putting a billboard advertisement up.
Yeah. Were you thinking of the Citizens United, Brad?
Yeah, Citizens United. That's what I was thinking of.
All right. Well, everybody, if you want to ask Hideo Izakura about her post and assessment there, you can go to Reddit, reddit.com/ what is it, r/justice for Clayton.
Yes.
I just click on the site and I don't even know the URL. So, yeah, and you can find her post there. So thank you everybody for being here. I have got to go to bed. Redondo Beach, thank you for the $2. Bruce has the best voice. I think
thank
Bruce
you.
has a good voice too. Yeah.
Oh my.
I don't know. Both Bruce and Brad have very nice voices to me. I don't know what.
Oh,
it is.
thanks.
No, you suck.
Damn, Lauren. Even out the schnitzel.
No, I just I praise her in private. You know what I mean?
Oh no!
Oh, boy.
please,
Oh, I stopped.
please
I
don't.
stopped. I know. I stopped myself.
My
I'm
Little
scared.
Pony.
I'm-
Friendship is magic.
I'm scared. Okay.
I love that just the breath in you guys knew.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, you're a psycho, so obviously you were going in that direction.
Oh, jeez.
By the way, Schnitzel, I looked up that lady and watched a video and I wasn't impressed.
Dang.
You weren't impressed. I didn't say you'd be impressed.
Which
But-
lady was it?
Does it, Brianna Banks?
Oh God.
Did you see or hear the similarities? Not see.
I didn't think it was super similar. I still feel like your voice is more like My Little Pony's.
What does My Little Pony sound like?
Friendship is magic. Like the little characters in the cartoon.
I've never seen My Little Pony.
Well, what are you going to do?
Don't pretend.
Maybe I'll go watch that.
There you go.
Don't even pretend you haven't seen My Little Pony.
I
all
have
right?
not seen My Little Pony.
You know you fell asleep to it. All right.
What?
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks you for joining us. I will be back. Maybe not tomorrow night, but the next night. We'll see. All right. Good night. Bye.
Good night.